question. How much Divine Llama have you guys watched over the last couple of years?
Quite a lot.
Quite a lot. Would you agree with the sentiment that maybe this is not just a Marcy thing, and that he is just the type of player that he is either 12-1 or 1-12? Like, we saw it on the camera. He's an emotional player, and I think it goes both ways. Like, he can 1v5 take over a game, especially if he's playing like one of his Siggies like Timbersaw, but it can also go completely the other direction where he just snowballs out of control feeding.
I agree with that, yes, and I feel like if you, well, so here's the question. Do you want to put him in a position that's really feast or famine to match his personality? Or do you want to try to neutralize it a little bit by picking something more stable?
I mean, don't you feel like being on the off lane and being feast or famine playstyle is just such a liability to your team? Like, off laners used to be described as the backbone of the team. You're always going to be delivering the amount of work to your team, regardless. It's not like too much or not too little. It has to be something linear, you know, every game. But with his type of playstyle, I feel like it might not be so good if he continues this trajectory of being so feast or famine.
Yeah, I think it also really leans into Tundra here. They did not alleviate any pressure at all. They were consistently, once they were able to take that tier 1 in the mid, just in the side of Heroic's map here. And so, I mean, look, touching coming up on our screens, he was the biggest contributor, being able to transition that win in mid lane for himself into those side lanes and everything. But that's an added effect as to why no one could even really get anywhere. Even the TA, who still had a considerable amount of net worth, there's no impact. Nothing was really coming from it at all.
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard to talk about Tundra just because they just played well, you know? They played good Dota, very standard Dota, where it's easy to just kind of like focus on Heroic and what went wrong there. They lost all 3 lanes. They picked a very greedy draft. Hector's going Midas instead of Armlet on DK, so the one comeback you do have potentially as Divine Llama is maybe your carry joins a fight here or there and you get a couple of kills and get a return there, but he's AFK farming. He doesn't have an armlet. He can't join these fights. Mid lane, also known, very greedy. TA just farms. Yeah, she lost her lane too. She's just farming. So you're in a situation where you just can't play Dota anymore. I said before the game started, they had to win all 3 lanes to really make this strategy work. They lost all 3 lanes, and it was just pretty straightforward win for Tundra in my eyes after that happened.
Yeah, I agree. I really like the kind of hybrid play style that we see coming out from some of these players. Like Soxa in this game went for 3 bracers on Mirana into Hurricane Pike. It's like, it does seem like it's earlier and earlier, but I think that's just because of the nature of they were doing so well in this game. He had such high net worth. We saw.
Not every position 4, despite it being a scaling hero, can do that.
No, not every position. It requires the right game, but to identify that we are so far ahead that he had a damn Daedalus at the end. But in my eyes, this makes the game impossible to come back in, because you're going to have to use all of your resources to kill the enemy carry, like to kill the Weaver. But then because Soxa has built like this, all of a sudden you have no resources, and then you have to deal with a second carry. You look at Thompson, the guy has Hurricane Pike Butterfly on mid Invoker. He's also building to scale. So it's like the items are scaling items, and there's the adequate amount of group up items that are being picked so that you can like choke out the map and be active. But once they're able to choke out the map, they build scaling items on all of the heroes that they can get away with. So it's just about finding that golden ratio of, okay, we can group up with this, and then at this point, let's all scale.
I mean, this is why you can't play alone. But you need to help everybody get rich, you know, like as a carry player, you can't just like, oh, I'm gonna buy Midas. Those idiots, they can't farm, you know, I'm gonna have to do everything on my own. I feel like that's a pretty bad mindset. Instead, you should be thinking, okay, everyone's having a hard time. I have to come out, I have to, you know, get my hands dirty, I have to help my offlaner, he's already crying, you know, I need to get him back into the game. My mid laner is struggling in the matchup where he's supposed to win, so mentally he's done. So if I don't come out, if I don't do something, the game is over, you know. But instead, he chooses, I'm going to get Midas and
that's how
screw
we
these
back
guys,
in.
you know?
Yeah, it's rough. Was a little unsure about Heroic, where their mental would be after this, because looking at Devi, I mean, that's the highs and lows of watching a Devi game, is you're going to get his player count no matter what. Is it going to be enjoyable to look at? Well, that's, you know, a little up to interpretation there, but it's nice to see the team all gathered around there, having a bit of a pep talk with each other, but I think they should also be talking about what needs to be changed up for the draft. Their opening phase bans were that Shadow Demon, the Omni, and the Viper. Really, really standard things, but now's the question of, are standard bans going to give you the advantage over Tundra? They like to pick a lot that's in the meta, favored by a lot of different teams, so is it more changing what you want or making sure that they aren't getting what they want?
I mean, there's a lot, I think, of their draft that I wasn't really feeling. First pick DK was one of them. This is a hero that is seen a lot of play, the most played hero. It's not doing super hot, so that's definitely one thing, but I think what they should really focus on more than anything is having a good draft, so a well cohesive draft that makes sense with each other. They tried to cheese it with the Marcy, I get it. TA mid, there's a reason we haven't seen a lot of it. Maybe pick something where Analog can make some rotations, you know is going to do well in the mid lane. Something, I feel like they tried to cheese that game, the best way I can put it. You got offlane Marcy and TA. These are heroes that aren't in the meta right now. Maybe, you know, dial it down a little bit. Pick some more standard stuff.
I will say about Devi Lama and his mentality, he is very emotional in the game, but he's also known for being very quick to reset. I've seen this exact scenario where game one is this, like, you know, very goofy looking thing where he's dying a lot, and then game two, he is completely, like, carrying the team on his back. So it's not like he's not been in this position before. It is his first TI, so there is that question of, will that trend continue when he's got all of this pressure on his shoulders? But I'm fairly confident. Like, I think he's just a really emotional guy. You see the frustration, but it's frustration more with himself and with the state of the game. It's not like he's, like, flaming his team.
Of course, I didn't expect him to be in this voice chat being like, I can't believe you're doing this. This is the worst game we've ever had for a terrible team.
I've just heard the rumblings that, like, people don't mind. It's like people almost like that because on the flip side, like, he really hypes up his team if they're winning and if they're doing well, and you see that in the way that they snowball.
I mean, to build on top of that, I feel like in the draft, if you have to choose someone to draft around, I think based on what I've seen, like how they play as a team, I feel like he's the person Dalai Lama should be trying to draft around, because I feel like he has a very, very positive effect on the gamer and in the team, like raising their morale. So if you try to draft around that, even if you have to pick his hero early, try to just make everything like around it. If he's being on a carry off lane, then you kind of have to try to scale down on the mid laner, or probably not the carry because it's Hector, so you have to scale down from the mid laner and try to make him play, you know, for the off lane. Play a Monkey King, whatever rotating hero, go to the off laner, open up the game and help him get into the game.
Luckily we have this graphic there, because I was going to ask you guys what are some more of those quote-unquote standard off-laners that Devi likes to pick up for himself, but we're having this graphic here of showing us what has been played between the two off-laners so far in the road to the International. 4 different heroes for Devi, 6 different ones for Ramses.
I think this top right one is a big consideration for bans. Nat, you asked about, like, what going forward should Heroic look to ban. I think Ramses, it looks like the most exceptional Mars player right now. Every single time he picks it, it seems like his team is able to rally around him. He's able to start every single fight. When they're pushing high ground, he's the one that's getting the right initiation. He'll go in, bait BKBs, and then back. It's like a lot of the good calls in the game are based on him being the first point of contact. And Mars just by far looks like the best hero for that for him.
Yeah, I mean, I think his Mars is really good, and it kind of shows that his experience as a player and his ability to read the map really shines while playing a hero like Mars, who buys Blink BKB, as, you know, compared to, like, the Zoo heroes that just walk around and farm. Sometimes it feels like, you know, when you play the Alchemist, go back to that, he can get into mode carry, you know, start doing the farming patterns. But when he starts, like, playing this Mars, he gets his dagger, he starts having his killer instinct. He's good at both, right? But I think this team needs him to be moving across the map and making plays.
Yeah, I mean, they just have the right balance. Like, just going back to what I said about Heroic, when they don't really have the right balance, they're trying to draft around too many people, and I feel like that oftentimes create a problem where you have a draft that has like some economical imbalances where too many people need too much out of the map, and it's very difficult to get it to work, against the better teams. Maybe in your own region in South America, people don't punch it as hard, so they feel confident with those type of strategies. But when you're here, everyone's a lot better. The laning phase, they do small things slightly better, and it makes it really difficult to be greedy and get away with it. So the balance in the draft is very, very important.
The Mars wasn't banned, even though we thought maybe that could have been where they wanted to go heroic, but the Mirana was taken out. They didn't like dealing with that one. It was a little too good for the side of Tundra, and that was their opener last time. So what are they now comfortable in picking up straight away for themselves? They've left Omni and Viper in the pool that were previously there.
That's a good question. We'll have to see. I mean, it's probably response to Enchantress. Everyone has their own response. We've seen Nyx be pretty popular. Usually if you can deal with the creep, it's typically addressing the Enchantress or having some way to deal with it. And Tundra, they're going to go for the DK. This is a hero that I'm starting to like less and less the more I see it, if I'm going to be honest with you.
I mean, what about on Tundra though? I
They love, yeah, I mean, there's always
the first guy doing
right? Yeah, we'll have to see. There is always exceptions where a hero does emerge from the meta because of one player, right? And that one player still believes in it and it's still good, so I will save my judgments for after this game. If Pure still loses with it, then I give up on this
He
game.
played it once already and he lost with it. Just so you know.
Well,
but Ramses has...
Ruining it already. I pre-give up on
Well,
this
okay,
hero.
there's two times in which Tundra have picked it. And it's gone on Pure once, they lost with it. But it also went on Ramses and they won with it. So a little bit of flex. Maybe Pure wants to try and rectify his win rate with the Dragon Knight.
Maybe they just mirror the Enchantress. I do feel like DK, at the very least in the first few levels, does not really care about an Enchantress too much. You need some extra damage there from maybe the carry and like position 4 rotating to kill a DK.
Yeah, but it can get ugly though. Like, depending on the carry. Like, the Eng can pretty much make any carry that's good versus DK even easier to play.
That's right. You need a kill lane.
I mean, when you're talking about mirroring, you're saying so wherever the edge go, you're gonna go send your DK to that lane.
Yeah, maybe. Because they played on both the side lanes.
And I'm not really a big fan, even though they won with the offlane DK. I feel like offlane DK is really not nice.
It is Ramses on another farming hero.
Yeah, I don't really like that. I mean, he has that farming mode, but I feel like it upsets the balance in the team. And I think every time I see this team play, I feel like the two polarizing players that you should drop around and play around is either Thompson or Pure, not the offlaner. So in the length of like the first half of the year, they've been like swapping out offlaners. I think a lot of that has to do with the balance in the court. They are trying to strike a healthy amount of farm across the board and trying to not overly drop around someone.
Yeah, I mean, I think we talked a lot about Ramses because you have to keep in mind that Thompson, he's just like a free spirit, Like, you can't put limitations on this guy. You just have to let Thompson do what Thompson wants to do. So
Somebody has to die for it, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, even back when he was on like OG and they won, it's just like, we just give Thompson what he wants and we'll play around him. And like, even on this team, it feels it has to be the same because I feel like Thompson isn't that type of player. He says he's slowing down, he's getting more stable with it, but
Delusion. That's delusion. He's not, dude.
That's PR. That's PR training.
This
He's
guy-
told to say that,
Anytime he streams, there's like 15 more YouTube videos about the builds that he's doing. He has not mellowed down at all.
yeah, you have to let Thompson just, cook whatever he wants to
Yeah.
cook. So, and you can't have too many cooks in the kitchen. So you're gonna have to be stable and just do the work people nobody wants to do.
I mean, this is something that has always been brought up in teams and the coach is drafting. Do you actually draft for the player or you make the player adapt to the draft? Oftentimes, it's a very fine line, If you don't get it right, then the team is not going to work.
You gotta have like your pawns, the grunts in there that are willing to do whatever it takes to win.
Yeah.
They don't need that space.
Oh, and then the sacrificial lambs. Monkey King. Well, actually, let's talk about Snapfire. Snapfire Dragon Knight could potentially be the lane combo that they want to go for on the side of Tundra. Might not happen as well, but let's talk about it as if they were going to be together. Where would you want to put the Monkey King? Is this something that you're looking at and find to be in the safe lane with an Ench against that combo, or it's more looking towards to be mid?
I think the default is mid right now, but so basically the reason why Monkey King mid I think is almost always okay unless you're playing versus like some dazzles and stuff where we've seen that and it got completely destroyed. At least you have a backup option of running across the map and getting kills. The one problem you have with Monkey King in the side lanes is that there's 2 heroes on the side lane, not 1. So it's very difficult sometimes to get that Jingu stacks off and win those trades because you're pretty weak in level 1 to 2. Even if you do get the Jingu stacks, it has been nerfed, so you can't really trade anyway. Where Monkey King, he gets up to his level 2, level 3 very quickly and can just kind of like play. So basically the more heroes Monkey's playing against, the worse it is for him. That's why the mid lane's best for him.
And it's easy for you to cross left and right if you're in the middle. And you have the level advantage. Sometimes it's a bad matchup, but you're still getting levels. And that alone is enough for you to have contribution in the game.
If it's a DK side lane though, let's say it's a DK off lane, and it's like really obvious in the draft, then you pivot the Monkey to be a carry.
I mean, I think DK Snap will win versus Monkey.
Okay, I was gonna say, I do think that's a part of the reason they picked the Snap is because it makes it really hard for Monkey in a side lane to get Jingu stacks. You just scatterblast him and
Scatterblast him, stun him, right click him, and walk away. He's half HP and like just rinse and repeat, right?
okay, now this is interesting. One of these 3 heroes that were just picked as core.
Sniper is like, I feel like I remember them running it on carry and
It's 90% likely to be the Sniper, 8% likely to be the Snapfire, and 2% likely to be the
Oh, that's a
hero
little-
with the Gleipnir.
2's a little high. I'd maybe get a half.
I mean,
I think it's a half a percent.
Half a
Love
percent.
Sniper and Snapfire, right? I haven't seen his Jakiro, but I'm sure tried it. It was funny, we were listening to the interview with Ted, right? Saying the heroes that he wanted to play mid on Ted, and he shut down Venomancer.
yeah, I was
Yeah.
surprised.
But I literally saw Thompson play that in a pub.
I mean, they nerfed it right away after he actually abused it.
Yeah.
It got nerfed right away.
So like, no more of that. That's not
I
happening.
think the Jakiro is kind of good here, getting some clockwork and killing off the trees to catch the monkey.
Monkey King, yeah. Even just throwing down the macro fire in the Monkey King ult is a lot of the time enough to kill him. Very annoying. Kills the
Make sure
Enchantress.
you just like can't be where you want to be.
Yeah.
You know what would have been kind of a fun facet, I'm totally derailing this conversation for Jakiro, is if you could turn his ult from a line into like a circle instead. It's like to disrupt the kinetic field, but the inverse. Anyway, that's fair.
Anyway, I'm
I don't know, but it's funny.
One of these 4 heroes is Divine Llama, right?
Wait.
No.
So it's analog mid,
First
first
Spirit.
Spirit,
Carry Monkey.
Monkey King carry,
Okay.
Yep.
And his hero's last.
and then
Yeah.
Enchantress Clockwork, he's getting last picked on device.
Yeah, that's good.
I don't know if I like the monkey carry, but
After you talked about it for 5 minutes, how it's better mid, we're not going to run it mid.
and then also like whether it's sniper or snap mid, I feel like Earth Spirit doesn't enjoy either of those matchups.
No, he doesn't. That's true.
I mean,
Which
you
does he lose
can
first?
kill the sniper. You can kill the sniper later, but early you're gonna suffer.
I mean, probably snap is worse, right? Because at least you have the merit of your Earth Spirit versus.
Yeah, but how good is Snap It now? Like,
It's really good. It beats like it destroys.
why Snap It? It's just to win the lane, or what's the other reason?
I mean,
Maybe. I mean, I think in terms of in a side lane against a Monkey King, who's better, Snap or Sniper? Because I feel like Sniper with the shrapnel, the new shrapnel, that's pretty strong. I don't know how you're ever gonna get Jingu off without killing yourself.
yeah, I'd rather have sniper be. I mean, let's just look at their heroes, right?
I'm looking.
And don't Dire's heroes just look incredibly ugly together?
Yes.
Yeah, but what about how good are they?
Like maybe that's just like we know because we've been like pro players for and we play at high level, but you look
Yeah.
at these heroes, it's just a single target.
Yeah,
like,
sometimes you just get the feeling, oh my god, this is never gonna work.
and then you look at like the massive AoE potential, all the items these heroes buy on Tundra. It's like, so basically Heroic's draft, the reason I don't like it is very similar to game number 1, and this is like a playstyle preference. It's very much so playing all eggs in one basket, and it's like skirmishing. Like we need to skirmish, we need to make these small
Snowball the
fights.
game.
We have absolutely no team fight pretty much. We're gonna snowball the game, and if it doesn't work well, then you get in situations that, like Devi was in the last game where when it goes bad, it goes real bad.
I felt like they really wanted Darkseid. Darkseid maybe could have been the thing that.
Yeah, they needed like
They're banning
a
big
gigafighter.
AoE team fighters.
Yeah.
They realize that's what they need.
They needed something. Yeah. So it's Devi Llama, last pick hero, gonna win the lane, solve all the team fight problems, or completely entirely pivot on we're never fighting.
This last pick has to be absolutely massive.
It's
I'm
gonna be
curious
Centaur.
that okay, I mean the Dazzle Band, I'm not really that curious about it, but because that's like a protection band there. But this Dragon Knight also still has flex between being carry or off lane. It's
That is
very open for Tundra. They have overall last pick. Heroic have to reveal everything, and they're not even sure they're going to get the better lane matchups. They're still not 100% on that. It limits your options a lot of what this last pick is going to be for Heroic, and you're already like picking apart.
I feel like it needs to be like some hero that's very hard to kick out from the lane, some DP, some Timber, so because all the other heroes like to rotate and move around, so they need to have a point that they need to move to, So he needs to be that type of hero.
I say Centaur, but I don't know.
Centaur's okay.
I feel like
I can't think of a single hero that salvages this.
What?
okay.
Alright, so Divine
Off
Llama is
slot?
going to play Earth Spirit or Monkey King. Offlane Inch, is that still a thing? Is that playable?
Yes.
Is that a meme?
Yeah, it's not bad, but I don't know.
I mean, who's your support?
I think
Edge is
It would be Clock Slark and it would be
Against-
Monkey King support with Inch.
Is it just Device being a Mar right now, and he's just gonna play offlane Slark into like a DK carry? That way, either their side lane is. I mean, this is honestly not bad for laning because on both the side lanes they have Slark versus a Monkey King, or Slark
Yeah,
versus
he's
a
doing
DK
it.
or a Mars, or a Monkey King versus a DK or a Mars. Both of those side laners beat the side laners of Thunder.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but this is a
It's all on the
this
supports.
is literally a clockwork Slark lane.
You are correct.
This isn't like some hoodwink Slark lane. This isn't a Snapfire.
I mean, what are they gonna do?
Clockwork.
What are they gonna do in a team fight against like?
Schofield Clockwork too. He's not even going to be in the lane.
I mean, the team fight wise, there's Mars, Jakiro, Snapfire. You have Earth Spirit ulti. That's it. Like, how are you ever gonna win those team fights?
I mean, it's interesting. I think Heroic, if they win this game, it's going to be off some individual, like, crazy plays or some ideas we haven't seen before. And it has to be Divine Llama. He's going all in again on the laning stage. So he has to find a way to win his lane here. But unfortunately, I think Tundra has just got all the heroes they would ever want, and it just looks very straightforward for Tundra on this one.
Yeah, I mean, you guys already hyped up Ramsey's on Mars. He gets it again for game number 2, so it feels like a lot of things are going their way right now, Jacob.
If this were a different team, I might. If this were like Falcons that last picked the Slark, then I would trust the ability to win the side lane so hard and execute and snowball. Because I do
Crit would
think,
play a lane winner. Right?
Yeah, he would probably play a lane winner. But Schofield is not. I mean, Schofield likes the melee heroes, so that's why I think this does not look like that much of a heroic draft to me. Is the problem that I have. I think they're an excellent team, but I feel like this is not an easy draft to execute, and also not in their comfort zone. And Tundra got what they wanted.
Okay, thanks for talking so much, Winter. I do want to quickly hear from you, though.
Yep, easy game.
Okay, easy game. That's all you really need to know here. Looks like get some more information, though, before game number 2. Nomad stands by with our other coach.
Thank you very much, and yeah, sometimes I gotta struggle to come up with questions, and sometimes it's really easy. Offlane Slark, what are you guys doing?
Well, DK is a hard hero to counter, right? So you gotta be creative. I felt like we had some good options there, but both teams ran out of time, and I think this Lark would surprise them more. And like we were just choosing between the classic ones, is Viper, Timber, or this Lark. We ended up going for this Lark. Llama is really good on those kind of heroes. He just needs to pop off. That's what I have to say.
Alrighty, well, it looked like you had a lot to say before the game because there was a big, long huddle. Can you just give me a bit of insight as to what you guys were talking about during the pre-game?
Well, we're talking about how we think that we played well the first game. It's just that lanes didn't go the way we played, and then they had a really good tempo lineup, and we weren't ready for it. So we're just talking about that, trying to like go back to our best. Our best way of like trying to get them ready for the next game, like the way they were for the first game. That's what I meant. And
We don't have action in the game, so we are going to jump straight into it with Cap and SPG for game 2. Thank you very much.
That's right, welcome to game 2 of Heroic versus Tundra. We already had first blood on our hands. As you guys saw, Snapfire did go down. But Avery, I was really interested in, we were listening to Capitato there, and he was talking about, you know, the drafts, being a drafter yourself, being a coach yourself. Do you agree with that philosophy that they chose with, right? They needed an answer to the Dragonite. They think it's a hard hero to be able to counter. They had some options that were way more traditional, but they went for the off-lane Slark, something they've only played once before in an official, because they thought it would surprise Tundra. They didn't have much time left in the draft.
There's some validity to that. I mean, there is some truth. Like, you pick something the enemy doesn't expect, they're not used to. It's a little difficult to formulate a game plan against it super fast when you have 20 seconds left or whatever, right? Yeah. So maybe your items against it are going to be a little more off than something like Timber Saw you were expecting. But I do think the Timber might have sounded juicy. The one upside here for Heroic as this draft, it's definitely wonky, right? I don't think anyone's going to argue this draft isn't wonky, but they have a lot of gap close. If there's one thing this lineup excels at, it's gap close. You have 3 cores with innate gap close abilities. They are 3 melee cores, but they can all just jump on top of you, and it's repeating gap close. Like, you have multiple leaps off of Sarkags, you have multiple rolls in with the Earth Spirit. The Monkey King can leap, Boundless Strike you, leap again. Like, in theory, the chase down potential is super big. Clockwork's another hero that can just give you an 8 gap close from level 6 onwards. So if you can just start to snowball this game and pick Tundra off across the map and just start running them down, create the chaotic South American Dota that this squad is capable of, that is where this lineup can shine. If you get stuck in more of a disciplined, slow, methodical game like we saw last time, where Tundra are running around with Thompson, killing a hero here or there, controlling the map, setting up for Oshans, you might have a difficult time just taking the straight up engagements in a 5v5, 4-on-4 situation.
Yeah, I mean, the panel was already talking about how they were doing something a little bit different before the Slark even came up, right? With the Earth Spirit pickup, they were talking about, is that going to be Divine Llama's hero, or is that going to be running mid for Analog? And this is something that they have done before. Unfortunately, I'm referencing the same exact game that we referenced for the off-lane Marcy's success that Heroic had in that game against Game of Gladiators. So it didn't work for, that reference didn't work in game 1. I'm not sure if it'll work in game 2, but we'll see. Maybe the Slark will end up working for them. This is something that they have done once in an official. That was just a month ago. They did it in an online tournament. Obviously, very different situation here on LAN and against a very tough opponent in Tundra that they're already down at 1 game against. It does seem like they are very much all in on the laning phase, something that didn't work for them in game 1. Do you think the laning phase is going to go better in this second game?
I actually don't think it's that all in. Like, every game at TI is going to be pretty dependent on the lane phase. Divine Llama should get another kill.
Blocked up and wait. Okay, Schofield commits for it and does manage to get the kill, and he will not die to that tower hit. Gets a bit low, but he has a healing sound, so he is going to be back into it. This double melee off lanes were actually working quite well.
I mean, the biggest factor, Divine Llama got first blood off that exchange we saw, so he just came to lane with an extra bracer, basically. He is raking in the gold right now. He is very farmed net worth-wise just off the extra kills. Get a couple extra agi stacks here, you're cruising. This Slark is in a very solid position, already level 4. I don't think this lineup is as dependent on the lanes just because I think the skirmish power is something people are underestimating a little bit. Like, Earth Spirit Slark, if they get to like the first and a half items, they're pretty annoying in the fight. Tundra don't have a super early pipe buyer, for example, right? We're not going to see Ramses buy first item pipe on Mars here, I think.
Okay.
This Magnetize could be annoying. If you can gap close the sniper, you remove a lot of the damage from Tundra's lineup. I see the potential. There's a lot that has to be executed there, but I do kind of see the idea, and you should not underestimate how much the Slark can do in some of these early fights if he starts building up early stacks. Like, he can be annoying. And there's not a lot of control from him. You have Arena, but that's it.
Nice use of the cookie there from Soxa, but being in the 5 position lane has not gone so well here for Soxa.
No.
As the roll hit from Analog, he thought he survived, and all of a sudden, Analog from downtown rolls in and gives him a good kick.
He's gonna stay around here too. They're gonna dive. This Dragon Knight potentially have the wave coming in. I mean, Pure offers nothing here in terms of trying to turn it around.
They're going to have Whitemon TP in as the Jakiro to try and help this situation. The dive is still going to continue, though.
They just bailed. Good luck, team.
Okay, goodbye. Oh, the shrapnel is going to be able to reveal Divine Llama. He's trying to get away, but the shrapnel and now the dual breast slowing him down. He doesn't have a pounce to be able to jump out, so he's going to be relying entirely on juking through the trees, and that's just not going to work for you against 3 different heroes all looking for you.
You get a lot of TPs down here, both supports again, and the sniper TP and triple shrapnel drop from Thompson. It's a big committal from Tundra to try and turn this aggression around. You do get a big kill out of it in that Slark, slow down his momentum. It does cost you some resources on the map. I was going to say the one lane I was maybe the most worried about was this sniper versus melee hero mid, but honestly, Analog, he's gotten through it, and I mean, this would be a massive hiccup if they can kill Thompson in the early game.
Thompson has made this rotation, but the supports have come with him. They hit him with a blood grenade, still might be able to make commit as the Magnetize is taking him down. Analog has got the kill, no problem, and he's going to look for more. He's got Whitemon, now he's going to go for the support as well. Analog playing that beautifully. His Earth Spirit is top tier, and he understood in that situation, Magnetize is inevitable. They will be dying here. He's just got to make sure to play it slow and keep those ticks up.
This is the best spell for Heroic in this game, and the most dangerous one for Tundra. You get stuck in these early fights versus Magnetize, it's going to decimate you. They don't have early dispels, they don't have a lot of early healing or sustain, they're going to power through it. Traditionally, you'd want heroes like Omni Knight, Abaddon, Undying versus this Earth Spirit to just clog up his team fight, but there's none of that in this early game. It's just all spell casting. Analog can really put some pressure on in this game, and he's top net worth, just got triple burn charge on top of it. Early Vessel's going to put some more pressure on these big melee cores that Tundra have. Heroic starting to cook a little bit in this game too.
Absolutely. I love the fact
lineup, but making it work.
Analog created that opening himself through the pressure that he created in the bottom lane, forcing the sniper to TP, right? Sniper's not able to get back to that mid lane as easily. They catch him in the middle of the jungle as a result. And now, with the supports rotating back with Thompson and then dying, it left the Slark in a 1v1. So the Slark was one who died in that rotation, but it still worked out for him in the end because he gets some 1v1 time against Dragonite, just what he wants.
Taking advantage of the resources on the map. Heroic playing a little chaotic too, saying going back to the roots. I mean, that is a big part of it. Got to kind of make the game unorthodox for Tundra here, so they aren't sure exactly what's happening, getting dragged around, and then caught in these fights that are disadvantageous, trying to weather the storm right now. Ideally, you play around Thompson here, because like this mid sniper is very strong in these early fights if you can put him in a good position. But his tower is just dead to this Enchantress. We saw this hero first pick for a reason. It did some work game 1 in terms of the objective taking, and KJ putting it to work here. Nice 2-man stomp.
That's right, true to his name, King Jungles comes out with the Enchantress trying to use the jungle to his advantage to take that mid tower. Does force a lot of rotations to protect that mid tower because it's a sniper, but that leaves Dragonite all alone.
This is one of those games where you're pure just like, what the hell's happening? Why is there a Slark Earth Spirit clock on me at like 8 minutes, you know?
Yep.
It's like one of those bad pubs where you can't tell if the enemy team gave up or not. It's like a Skype by Meteor Hammer, like what's happening? You know, I just want to farm, guys. We'll see if he opts for the Midas in a maybe similar recovery position to what Hector was last game. But it's Hector going aggression this time. No Midas for him. He's just going the Gleipnir. This is not a bad position for Heroic. I feel like
not at all.
Tundra wanted more out of the sniper in the early game. And if you don't get Thompson in a position where he's a bit tankier, you reverse so much gap close. I do wonder if this sniper is just going to get bamboozled every fight. Like, you have 6 heroes rolling on him and an edge creep, and his tower's gone, and there's night vision on the Slark to contest with to match you, and it's a spooky game for Thompson right now. He does not have a lot of frontline either outside of the Mars to...
They know. They see him, but Analog, a roll after a sniper, but he had an invisibility, so not going to be able to kill him here. Still going to be able to go for the ward. It gets denied by Soxa. They are getting herded into this offlane tower area, and with the Enchantress creep, they could take the tower shots if they want to go for the dive. But they opt not to go for it, maybe for the best. That could have been a throwy situation there.
Absolutely could have been. And, I mean, Tundra, they did play it well. Like, they maintained their formation, protect the tops, and just back up. Invis Rune does some work. Not giving an opening there is really important, because this is where that Magnetize can absolutely shred them in the 5-on-5.
Yeah.
Still Schofield protecting their wards here. Does not want to let Tundra back into the high ground, and
They knew Whitemon could not stop himself from going up to that high ground and checking out this ancient stack that they have for themselves, but there will be the punish back. Ramses gets the arena onto Divine Llama. Nowhere he can go. He's going to be shot down by Thompson. And now they can maybe clear through that ancient stack, though. Going to have to do it as a group if they really want to. Heroic is not going anywhere, though. They still have this Magnetize to use, and they've got the vision to be able to blow up Soxa. Got a kick to slow down Thompson, allowing Schofield to catch up. Now he's inside the cogs, and now he is screwed. He is stuck inside the cogs with a battery assault and analog right there as well. Wait, a pushback for God's Rebuke. They're doing the damage. He's actually going to be okay for now. It's King Jungles committing for the kill, trying to get him, and he does manage to. Ever so barely, he gets his level 6, and it's going to be a slow death, if a death at all. He has a TP scroll, and he's got Hector bailing him out. No, the God's Rebuke stops him from being able to land, stops him from hitting that additional nuke. King Jungles will finally die, as it's going to be the supports limping over the finish line to be able to get these kills they're looking for.
I mean, this is South American Dota in a nutshell. You are getting dragged into skirmishes and fights you probably rather not take, but Thunder are meeting them head on, bringing the numbers. That's the most important part here. You do not want to get outnumbered. And a huge component of that fight, we saw amp damage. Earth Spirit, I think, would have decimated that entire exchange. But he magnetized the first target he rolled on in Soxa, and Soxa immediately died. So this magnetize just died with him.
Yeah, that is unfortunate.
And it costs him a lot here, because I think that would have been a great fight with the amp damage room just powering it all up. Thunder happy to get through that exchange, get some ancient camps for the Dragon Knight. They'll bleed out another support as Heroic continue to just pick up the pace and continue to swarm the ramparts here.
It really does feel like this is the exact same situation, just shoes on the other foot here, where Pure is just farming away as the Dragon Knight. His team is being decimated.
Yeah, this looks like a mirror image from last game, but he didn't go the Midas.
It's true. Maybe you should rethink that. Schofield will be caught trying to play too much around this triangle area, and Heroic looks like they've finally been kicked out for good. Not that Hector minds. He's swarming the exact opposite side of the map and pushing in that bottom lane deep.
Bet you wishes he was raid king right now with all this space, man. But
it always does kind of weird me out seeing Hector playing a non-strength hero.
He's caught here,
and he should be dying. Here's the trickery. It'll only take him so far, but if he gets outside of vision, good thing the kisses were used, because he was getting away and might have been able to jump into the trees. Soxa, wise as he is, opts to use the kisses for a hero that definitely needed it. That being said, a lot of heroes do show in the bottom lane. Thompson's got to be careful in mid, as he's still trying to work towards his mid strong.
And Tundra really played this last few minutes well. Like, this game could have snowballed very fast off some of those magnetizes and power runes. Instead, they put all their cores in a decent position. Even Soxa found some solid net worth. And this Slark, who, if you remember, was the most farmed hero out of the lane phase, he's now the bottom of the chart. Divine Llama just not finding that like crazy momentum he was looking for off these fights. Does hurt this hero a little bit.
He is going to find a diffusal blade very soon, and they'll take this off-lane tower, which may mean, especially if he can get the diffusal blade in time, nobody takes the last hit, awkward, but they can maybe play for the 14-minute Wisdom Rune steal.
I think that's too much to ask for here.
Yeah, go fighting into this Mars is particularly hard so early on.
And these support ults are powerful if Tundra can set up the front line here with the Mars. So this is a very risky maneuver, though Tundra are a little out of position.
Heroic. This is going to be a situation where they have bitten off more than they can chew, as in the high ground, Pure is sitting here. Cookie goes out, hits on a couple there, and Slark actually gets a little bit low, but thanks to his ultimate, he's going to be able to heal up and get away. Schofield, Centaur stomp, but they're still going to be able to track him. Schofield goes down, and Heroic indeed, that push forward into the 14-minute Wisdom Rune area does not work for them.
Lost the Magnetize again, and that was the Blade Mail for the Earth Spirit. That's why Tundra just didn't want to commit on him there, but not the fight Analog's looking for in this early stages of the game. And once more, Tundra's bringing the numbers, maintaining close proximity, bailing each other out. There's just not a lot of openings there. It's a tough fight. I mean, you look at the map right now, in theory, you should not feel bad if you're Heroic, because you're continuing to push Tundra into this one part of the map. Like, bottom lane has been empty.
Oh, got him again. ever so barely, but catches K1 Hector on the edge of the arena. And this is going to be a constant problem for him until he can get the shard or a BKB on the Monkey King.
Not afraid of the Monkey King here.
Apparently not.
Not a signature hero for Hector, I would tend to agree. I mean, these are two really bad deaths for Hector, right? Yes. Like, you're looking at the amount of space he has right now. He's had the entirety of this bottom half of the map to himself. And he is not the highest net worth. I think there are a lot of heroes he would be, like a Chaos Knight, a Wraith King, some of these heroes that could ghost shove the wave. These two deaths that Ramsey's caught him have really slowed down the Monkey King's gameplay and kind of made the space making that Heroic were doing with the 4 other heroes a bit of a moot point.
See that heat map all over the place.
But it is not translated to a free game.
No.
That's a big deal.
In fact, Tundra have completely evened out the net worth in this game.
So you have your Diffusal on the Slark. You saw the Blade Mail on the Earthspear as well, pushing towards that vessel. This is kind of where these two heroes can shine in terms of the early skirmishing with the early power spike on these items. And you have your nighttime as well with the Slark vision. So this is kind of where you'd want to aggressively make a move, smoke. Again, you kind of know where Tundra are, and they're only in one part of the map, so you just have to force it and break them. We're going to see Heroic smoke up, try and swarm, maybe try and get a good angle here. A lot of this fight comes down to Magnetize, how much it can do, how many heroes it sticks on. You have max stones up, 9 stones to play with here for Analog.
They spot Zoxa, go for him. Arena goes out, immediately locks down the Earth Spirit underneath the Macro Pyre. They go for the hook shot though. They're trying to stick on top of Thompson. Thompson gets pulled away from Divine Llama, who sticks on a Pure instead. With the Magnetize on some of these heroes though, they are ticking down, but the team fight, oh, nice kick through from Analog, finishes off Thompson at least. And then Dragon Knight takes out as well. The Magnetize is still going on. He's gonna get a 3rd kill out of this situation, I think, as Whitemon thought about the TP away. K1 Hector finally shows up. King Jungles will be the one to claim the kill on Whitemon at the end. A 2-for-3 exchange that ultimately does go the favor of Heroic.
Her Spirit, I mean, it is a 1v5 machine, right? Everybody there is just a meat shield for this guy to get the job done. And he gets it done. 8-0 and 5 start, by the way, Analog here.
Crazy.
He has absolutely owned this game. The second he rolls in there, he got magnetized on everybody. That team fight is over for Tundra. It's just a matter of what you get out of it at that point. And since he got the Blade Mail off on the Spear for Ramses, you can't all-in commit on him. He has too much HP right now. So you got to get to these Dispels. Early BKBs for Tundra are going to be their answer. It's going to be second item BKB for the Mars and the Dragon Knight here. That's going to be a big deal if you can get to it.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen a very clear difference in these team fights. The team fights, the 2 team fights where Magnetize hits multiple heroes, they demolish. Heroic wins that fight. But then if it doesn't, then, you know, the team fight actually goes against them. What happens if you get BKBs on all these heroes? Like, what's carrying the team fight at that point?
You're going to go into the Valley, I think, with this lineup if you're Heroic. Like, that mid-game period where Tundra have Dispels or Sustains, like a Greaves on a support or something, it's going to be way harder for you to just force those skirmishes straight up. And you're going to have to maybe just farm and split the map a little bit. Maybe play for a Roshan fight, get your own BKB, something like this to trade out those durations for Tundra as this here.
Yeah, Analog managed to get the roll away, I think, from Ramses in time before the spear hits him. And from what you're saying, it sounds like Heroic should try and keep forcing fights while they have this window before they hit the Valley of the BKBs. And with Arena on cooldown, that may be a great opportunity for just that.
Or at least out-farm Tundra. You can be okay with corralling them if you're getting more out of the map, which I think they have been in that position, but again, some of the bad deaths have cost them that lead. Analog is very farmed, so if he gets his own BKB, you can just trade out BKBs. But again, you have to be careful of this Magnetize getting dispelled in that type of situation. Still, do not underestimate the scale here on this Earth Spirit. He is still an absolute beast in the late game with 5 or 6 slots. You're looking at like things like Shiva's Octarine, whatever it is. He's a monster.
Yeah. And he doesn't right-click for a totally insignificant amount, so with that passive.
But you will hit this mid-game Valley a bit, and Tundra are going to look to take advantage of it if they can with this BKB timing. Look for a smoke gank of their own. Try and get a pick off, maybe translate it into Roshan. You're still looking to recover your sniper in this game a bit. Thompson will finish up the Gleipnir, adds a bit more control and damage to their team fight.
Gleipnir 1, Gleipnir 2.
And it will be the Deso for Ramses. Designing up this game. Does love this build. gives them a bit more physical to shred through these 3 melee cores.
Yeah, they, I mean, you were talking about how important a pipe could be for the lineup of Tundra. Instead, they opted for just triple BKBs.
Yeah.
Do you think this is do you like Ramses going for the damage approach this game?
If you're going the BKBs, yeah. I don't think you're going 3 BKBs potentially and then getting a pipe. I don't think it makes too much sense to me.
Sure.
You're just going to try and outscale him here. Put your Dragon Knight in a position where he just out-man fights everybody.
Well, he is out man-fighting this tower.
Owned it.
Destroys it mid, gives them a power room to work with. Heroic maybe are already falling back on that play to, you know, split the map as much as possible. I mean, look at them. They are on the borders of the map.
Yeah, it's time, right? You do not want to force this fight up into the BKB timing Tundra have. But your lineup is solid in splitting the map. Like, you have 3 melee cores, but again, they're all elusive. Kind of annoying. The Slark's going to give you some extra E wards that you can play around. The Enchantress can also split push some ways with creeps. So you're not too inefficient in playing this type of game, splitting the side lanes, splitting Tundra up their lineup. You look at Tundra's lineup, it's very limited on the catch. And their lineup thrives in the straight 5-on-5 and objective-oriented fight, but catching heroes on the map just comes down to Ramses finding heroes with this arena, that's it. It can be a bit clunky for them if the map gets split this hard. Then it comes down to a question of, well, I mean, who wins ultra late here between these 2 lineups going head-to-head? That is a tough question to answer, honestly, because both these lineups scale very hard between 3 cores. It probably just comes down to itemization and execution in the late game.
Sure.
And I mean, Hector Monkey King. Question mark. What does that look like, right?
Yeah. He's going to work towards a BKB. They're going to take the Tormentor real quick, though. A little bit more efficient for Heroic than it was for Tundra. They get a jetpack for Schofield. So more opportunity, as he's been hanging out in this bottom lane, more opportunity for them to be elusive.
Yeah, they're being really annoying right now. They are getting more out of the map. Their supports have found a bit of extra net worth. They don't have the Midas Earth Spear or something like that, but Analog is keeping up there at the top. Just had such a good early start. And that is something else to keep in mind. There is a big streak on this Earth Spirit as he finishes the BKB. So Tundra can win a team fight and collect some of these bounties. There's a lot of hidden gold there.
Smoke gets them a very nice aggressive ward, though it is spotting out a Slark right now. We'll see if Dubai Llama managed to make the read that ward just got placed there.
Tundra very split, but they want to go triangle here off a scan. That's what they're really looking for.
They find the monkey again. Trickery dodges some of the damage, but yeah, he was farming up some ancients, I think. Got super low off of it. A pounce lands on Ramses. He says, okay, no problem. Pops BKB, walks away.
Did he actually not heal off that Tormentor?
No.
Is that what that was?
He was walking because K1 Hector plays for efficiency, farm efficiency, if nothing else.
I actually just assumed he went to heal.
No. As mobile as Monkey King is, he did not want to take the 5 seconds it would get to take him back to Fountain.
Honestly, such a Hector. I mean, what a beast. It does not pay off here, though, as that is an easy kill for Ramses to collect.
Dubai Llama trying to catch Soxa and get some extra attributes for himself. Doesn't find it, and Pure is still in this area. Hit him with the jetpack cogs. Lock him down and annoy him for half a second at best.
You gotta remember, though, that is a play that Heroic are making without the Monkey King.
Yeah.
And Tundra are backing up there. He did not want to take that fight. Kind of interesting. As we weigh the strength of these 2 teams in an actual 5-on-5, you do have that BKB complete with the Earth Spirit, so in theory, you combine that with the Monkey King BKB, you could start to look at that head-on engagement. Tundra didn't really get what they wanted out of that BKB timing, I think, which it's not terrible here, because you wanted them in this game no matter what. You want to scale with them. They're mainly here for things like the Roshan fight and, you know, Pure being able to commit in to something like a Wukong if it gets dropped, but so we'll give time for Hector to meet them on that battlefield after a couple rough pickoffs. Still kind of feel like you'd want to get the fight going right now if you could, if you're Tundra, especially during this daytime. You got 50 seconds left. Or just force the Roche, like you have
Sure.
pretty decent single target physical burst here with the cores.
Yeah, you've got Chrysalis done for Pure. If you're willing to pop Dragon Form to be able to take that Roshan,
I think you are, for sure.
you could do it pretty easily.
They're eyeing it up. It's gonna be close this nighttime.
Yeah, it's gonna switch over. If they commit for this tower.
Heroic are grouping. They want to fight. Monkey King BKB is done. You're still looking for this Deso on Ramsey, so he's missing some net worth, and it's a big flank coming through.
Yeah, once again, the wraparound, and they're going to find the supports immediately. The Chikiro is going to be the first one to be gone on here. He does manage to get off his Ice Path. Macro Fire, not too bad, but it's going to be a BKB. K1 Hector, Analog hits the back line. He found what he was looking for. That's going to be Sapphire and the Sniper caught in his assault, and that means the other two cores going to just BKB TP away, but Ramses didn't make it out.
Ticked out to the Magnetize, I think, right? What got him at the end there? That was a post-TP death. Yeah, I think it was a Magnetize. No, it was a Magnetize tick.
Oh.
Got reprocced on him even after the BKB and just runs out. A brutal fight for Tundra. A kind of daytime started fight. They did not win, and so much of that is the gap close. Analog finding the back line immediately on the tops, and this is the weakness of this lineup this game. If the sniper gets gone on and these heroes just BKB start hitting him, you have nothing to bail him out. There's no BKB control in this lineup. There's nothing like an overgrowth or something to, recreate the gap so tops can go to work. He's just food in the middle of an exchange like that. That is a big win for Heroic in this game. And they get an Aegis on Hector. So now, my friend, you can go and get picked off if you want.
Tundra made a lot of good reads of Heroic's movements, but that one seems that they completely caught Tundra off guard.
Yeah, they just didn't have the right angle. This Earth Spirit was immediately on them on the backside. And you get some good damage out of the Chikiro, but these cores can't take down the Monkey and BKB Wukong anyway, so it's kind of wasted here.
Yep.
And Analog just got the job done, man. I mean, this hero has been beastly this game. No way around it. In fact, what is he up to now? He's 9-0-7, level 18. He is enjoying life.
I mean, it just looks so much better than the last game where, the lineup's still a little greedy, I think, but at least they have one playmaker in the cores.
It makes a big difference. They have easy initiation. They can find the angles. They can be creative with it, right? That's where this team thrives. It is nighttime, but Tundra looking to push in, have the high ground ward, trying to play around it, find a straggler, find anything. It's been a struggle for them outside of a couple arenas. They haven't really been able to start the fights.
You can see Divine Llama, he's got the gem. He knows there's a ward there, and he wants to de-ward it, but he does not approach the ward once he sees it. And he doesn't do it either, because he knows Tundra is going to play around the vision that they have.
Yeah, it's
if
dangerous.
he goes for the D-ward, he's potentially getting caught. Even if he dart packs, he could still be stuck inside an arena.
You can depth shot for it, but
his team directly behind him, he takes this ward, and they smoke off of the vision going down on the side of Tundra. And it looks like Whitemon's gonna get caught up in this one. Heroic, I think, they want more. They want something different. That's why the jetpack and why they didn't immediately jump, and they got him too! Oh, the hook shot from across the field catches Thompson. They wanted something better off that smoke, and by golly, they found it.
Ward saw him running up there, got the rocket flare to land, and easy lineup for Schofield. Made the correct play, which is go for more. Heroic, they can start to snowball this map right now. They have every ability to do so. And one of the big things in this game is, like, you have initiation sources between the cores here and the DK and the Mars, but if you jump in with a DK or Mars to try and latch somebody, and you drop a Depth Shroud on that hero.
Yep.
That team fight seems a little awkward, like, especially if you commit BKB.
Ooh, hit him with a Dragon Tail immediately. That damage, it adds up pretty quickly. Oh, he juked him. They thought he was going to roll upwards, but he actually rolled to the right, juking the attempted blocks.
I do not know if he should have gotten out of that one, but
no, I don't think so.
He will live to fight another day. He's a big life.
He's going to roll after them anyway. Despite his BKB being down, they still want to take this team fight with K1 Hector's BKB, but it looks like it makes awesome Depth Shroud. It's trying to help him out, but the Kisses are going to come in, and they'll do the AoE damage. In fact, Divine Llama, he's going to TP away underneath his own ultimate Depth Shroud.
Heroic want to bail. That was a risky fight to take. No BKB on the Earth Spirit. That just felt like you were asking for it. And again, that was the big streak to collect. Went to Soxa here, I think, so he gets the 1,000 gold for it. Happy about that one?
Well, I don't know if the rest of Tundra's happy about that one.
No,
like
but
that gold could have been better on somebody else, but it is what it is.
I mean, Soxa takes what he wants.
That's true.
It's a TI one.
He took 9 classes spot, you know.
All right, well, you don't have to phrase it like that. I think that was a little over the top on.
Daytime is coming, Avery, and that means that Tundra are going to be happy to take fights, I assume, right?
They should be. You have to start thinking about this next Roshan. Like, you still have a minute left on stage as heroic, but if you're Tundra, the way you win this game is you get a Roshan in this game, and then you start to push with an Aegis Dragon. So if you can wear through these periods where kind of nothing happens, and set up for that, in theory, you're not too sad.
Yeah.
But I get, of course, this is a long way away, and you still have 40 seconds here for heroic. I don't think they're going to get another fight out of it. So you kind of waited through this Aegis period if you're Tundra. And you can start to think about the next one, what that looks like, what you're going to gear up for in terms of that head-on fight. BKB will finish for the Slark, and you're going to get an Octarine for the Earth Spirit here, plus one more item for Hector. Should be the Ags he was eyeing up. He's pretty much finished with it. This Monkey King's going to scale. He's kind of a beast.
Yeah. I guess the question is whether or not they have the lockdown to keep heroes within the Wukong's command, within the Aghanim statues.
He's flirting with danger here. You know there's a gem.
He just figures that if the Slark is going to see him, he's going to be able to blink away faster. Analog would be a great pickoff, and he's going to hit him with the Spear Arena combo. His team, though, is not able to follow it up immediately, and Analog gets off the BKB, and he can walk away from the team fight if he wants to. Hector's right in the middle of all these heroes, but he just got burned out. Macropire, Ice Path, and just raw physical damage from Pure is enough to put him down, and it's going to take Divine Llama out of the fight as well.
Analog trying to clean something up, but he finds nothing here as Ramsey's TP's out of time. A very disjointed fight for both teams as the cogs in the arena separated both sides there, but Pure, he is standing and delivering right now. This Mask of Madness Daedalus just ripped through Hector. Did not have the survivability.
No, I mean, he took so much damage before he gets off the Wukong's command. Right? Like, that Wukong's command gives him all that bonus armor, but if you die before it even goes off, basically.
But look at how much this Dragon Knight's doing right now.
Yeah.
Sort of on top of all of it, he's hitting for 450, basically 500 a hit. If you crit on any of those, it's a nightmare right now for anybody on the side of Heroic, because you don't have the big armor items up yet. You don't have a Shivas, you don't have an AC, you don't have a Butterfly, you don't have Satanic.
Whoa, Thompson! Okay, he has baited Analog. The hook shot comes across, though. Still threatening these heroes. Analog's going to roll away. Schofield may not have that same luxury, but he does have a Glimmer Cape. That protects him, and Tundra just trying to full out before Analog can catch them. And they all do manage to get away, at least for now. Schofield's still hunting with the jetpack, but without a hook shot, it's not going to mean much.
I'll be honest, some of these exchanges, like, I don't know who is trying to bait who. Somebody's wrong in these baits.
What was Thompson's game plan there
I think he was trying to bait somebody to like overcommit in while they were still missing some heroes and weren't set up.
So you think he knew the sentry was there and they could see?
I don't know what that is. It's such a weird play, honestly.
Too hard to get into the mind of Thompson.
I've tried for years and I've given up, so you just accept what you see. You trust it as reality. Nonetheless, he has recovered in this game. He's top 2.
He has. That's something that I was surprised. I mean, I thought it was good Ramses going the Deso build because I wasn't sure if Thompson was going to be much of a force in this game, considering all the gap close.
Just looking for the early start. He has kind of everything else. The Invis with the Shadow Blade, the Grenade, the Hurricane Pike for some disjoint. Get that BKB, you can get rid of the Earth Spirit problem that's plagued him. Tundra hitting a very strong point in this game, and Mjolnir for Pure. Ooh, if they do not manage to stun him and wear through some of his HP at the start of the fight, I think he's the ultimate beast here.
What do you think of why the Mjolnir exactly?
It's just so much damage, man.
Okay.
And you have like monkey soldiers and random stuff that can proc it. You can also throw the charge on on the Mars or somebody else if you really want to. Okay. It's just so much damage. It's overwhelming. If he gets to stun Hector, for example, you might just die and stun you. There's Depth Shroud that can bail out this monkey part.
Yeah. There are some interesting saves, right? We got the Depth Shroud. We also just picked up the Shard for the Earth Spirits, and now he can pull allies away. Meanwhile, though, Tundra, they've got Cookie, they've got the concussive grenade. There's a lot of weird saves, I would say.
And both sides have some ways to bail out their cores. They're gonna have to stand and deliver. Hector will look towards that butterfly. That'll be his kind of pseudo-defensive item of choice to deal with this Monkey King. Mjolnir does help you through that a bit. I don't think Pierre's gonna go back for an MKB or anything in this game. You want to get as much done with this DK right now as you can, because nobody's contesting him. And again, this is that like next Aegis period I talked about a while ago. Tundra geared up for it. If they can put a second life on this Dragon Knight, it's absolutely untouchable. You're going to need a lot of Slark stacks to get through that.
That is a big if, though, because we are stuck in this cycle of nighttime Roshans.
We are. Favors Heroic. It's a dire side outpost Roshan during nighttime for the Slark, but the vision right now is being controlled by Tundra. They're set up and they have the position. So if they want to hold this high ground, you negate a lot of that advantage.
At the same time, there is vision thanks to the clockwork, and they also know with these other lanes pushed in that Tundra's up here.
By the way, very limited buybacks available for Heroic on this dire side. You only have Slark and Clock.
Okay, so Divine Llama, maybe he's got to be the one to start things off, but they managed to hit the hook shot, or excuse me, the arena on Schofield, who was looking for a hook shot opportunity. Well, there's going to be your first buyback, 1 of 2. For Heroic, Divine Llama, he's going to put himself on the front lines here, start going on to Soxo, who's managed to force himself, but Analog gets on top to Thompson with Hector there as well. It's easy for them to get the kill on the Sniper, who does have a buyback though, and he's going to use it now. Kiss is going out, Clockwork, a dieback for him, a roll-in to be able to stop those kisses though, and now Sox is up next, but a spear bails him out for a second. They turn around, throw out so whatever damage they can out to Analog. Pure's taking a lot though, with 2 cores on top. He turns around, look at the damage though. Oh, it's adding up quick. He's taking out 1 core. The AoE's brought Hector low, and he'll finish him off with a triple kill, maybe an ultra, as he looks now towards the Enchantress to slowly get him down through that ultimate, and they will win that Roshan fight engagement. Now they're not going to go for Roshan immediately, it's still not up, so let's hit some high ground.
Just a beast of a team fight from Pure. Nobody was touching him there, and you have to think about the target prioritization here from Heroic. They were going for everybody but this Dragon Knight. It works if you can stay alive, but that's the big problem. You can't stay alive versus guy right now. And Pierre talking to his teammates here saying, yeah, you like that fight? 1v5 there, bro.
I A-clicked them.
I sat in the middle, and I did what I had to do. I mean, they found Thompson at the start. Analog gets on top of him from a crazy angle. The Sniper can't bail himself out. You use Clockwork's buyback to get rid of the arena at the start. Hector's BKB is very early here, and it does cost him in the end. I don't think the ideas were off, but it's just nobody can deal with this Dragon Knight, man. The damage is overwhelming. Boundless Strike puts him in an awkward spot, but then right here is like,
oh yeah, Red Dragon Central. Look at that splash damage, man.
And Thompson's able to come back into this fight on the high ground through the gate. Yeah, it's a big deal. His buyback counted for a lot here. Tundra had all the others available as well, so too many lives to get through here.
So they do manage to get themselves a Roshan, and wait, did they? Yep, the Aegis. Oh, okay, it's just a small little icon. It's on Thompson instead of the extra life on the Dragon Knight to go high ground.
Reward him for his buyback usage, and Pure probably feels like with Satanic he cannot die anymore. I can't believe that. I feel like now the only point he dies is if you do kill everybody else and bring him down 3 or 4 on 1. You were having issues surviving that. Also, that buyback cost Thompson his BKB right now.
Sure.
So you got to give him something to play around with here. X for Ramsey's more initiation power, and
makes life a lot harder for the Monkey King and Slark, and even the Earth Spirit, these very mobile heroes.
You need the Shivas on the Earth Spirit too, so he can actually tank some of the Dragon Knight damage here.
Yeah.
Analog is having issues standing his ground, as is the rest of Heroic. I mean, Hector is not faring much better. I don't know if this butterfly is really going to do it anymore. Tundra pushing their advantage.
They're going to hit the high ground. Pure with 4,300 HP. One life is seemingly pretty good for him. Divine Llama, sight, but he has the Dark Pack going. Quickly pops the BKB for fear of his own life, but that's exactly what Tundra won out of that. They got a little bit of ability and item usage out of him while still pushing forward. Taking the tier 3, now the barracks to fall. The damage adds up though from the Enchantress. It's Pure a bit low.
You
Got
could
it.
put the DK in a position where you can haul in him somehow. Could be interesting, but your lineup, kind of difficult to do that. Maybe you can hook shot, cog him back or something.
Yeah, and use like Depth Shroud to make it so he can't target anybody with that Satanic.
It's a tough ask.
Yeah.
And now he's pushing the advantage, got the tier 4 item advantage as well here.
It seems to me that Heroic have just called that they're not going to fight until they finish up what I assume is the butterfly that Hector's trying to farm up.
Really hates that try.
He does. He does.
Messing it up. Yeah, Hector is trying to finish this item. He will finish butterfly here on the monkey. He feels all in them. Like, you got to win this fight, or you're going lower bracket here.
I'm not letting the T-ward happen. Thompson protects it. They go for the roll-in on the Dragonite, though. Silencing him up. Well, he doesn't have Dragon form for a couple more seconds, but he does get low, but not good blowing up. Meanwhile, K1 Hector is trapped inside arena and signed up. He's dead. The butterfly didn't matter. He just got controlled and killed by everything else. Davai Lama's trying to do what he can, but all he could out of this was an Aegis. That being said, a TP away, but Pure's not TPing back. He said, you can leave if you want, Ramses. That's fine. I'll carry this game, and I'll finish it off by myself.
I mean, TI winners are TI winners for a reason, and Soxa, you just caught him with a cookie. Sometimes that's all it takes for a game to end and for a team to end up in the lower bracket is a sick connection from Soxa on the bottom side of that fight. Takes Hector out. Nothing cast by this Monkey King in the last fight. And Beastco, or Heroic, will go down with a bit of a whimper at the end of this game compared to how it started. Like, they had so much momentum in that game. I feel like they got everything they wanted. 8-0 start for this analog Earth Spirit, just destroying fights, but Heroic unable to capitalize on map control as a product, and just kind of left wondering where this game went wrong. I did not get the sense that Hector was as comfortable on this Monkey King as he is on some of his signature heroes. He got picked off a couple of times when he had a lot of space to operate with, and it ends up costing him a decent chunk as Tundra looking very solid in this 2-0.
Yeah, and questions about Heroic. I mean, there were questions about Heroic coming into this tournament, I would say, just because of the fact that while, you know, I would say 3-4 months ago, you would look at Heroic and be like, oh, they're a team. They're obviously the best South American team, and they're really taking it some of the better teams. They have come into this tournament not looking their greatest, and now they're going to be starting off in the lower bracket. Not a great position for Heroic, and they're going to need some time to be able to think about what they need to do to change form and make a lower bracket run work if Hector wants to be able to reclaim yet another top 8. Meanwhile, though, Tundra's staying in the upper bracket, and we'll see what they can get accomplished there.
Thank you, Cap and SVG there. It is fantastic for Tundra getting that 2-0 for them. Not an extremely clean game for game number 2. It was a little bit rough at the start, but it's also a true testament for them that they're able to make space, have that comeback potential in them, and find the pickups, be able to still take team fights despite having that lower net worth, despite being at that deficit.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like in the beginning there are a lot of problems with dealing with the Earth Spirit. Right? He TP'd around. He had a good lane, and he was able to use it to pressure, especially the bot lane. He helped Dalai Lama, which we kind of didn't really think that he would get a good lane from the slot, but he did. He had a really good start. He was able to use it, you know, run around the map pressure, try to fight around the Ancients here. Like, without a good start, this was actually not really possible for them, you know. They kind of got baited by the Jakiro. White Maul ran up, they went on him, and they kind of traded a slot for Jakiro here.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to talk about this game. First was going to be like, I did not expect as well that the bot lane would go so well. It went really well for them. I also didn't expect for Analog to just like pop off as hard as he did on the Surge Spirit. I feel like this game may not have looked as close as it did if Analog didn't have the performance that he did on the Surge Spirit. He played a really good game. And then on top lane, I wasn't sure about K1's Monkey King as well. I mean, he still doesn't look as good on Monkey King as he does on other heroes. And it begs the question to me for Heroic, it's like, this does not look like their usual drafting and their usual style of play. And I wonder like why they're choosing to go down this route and be so experimental this late into the tournament, because they're now landed in the lower bracket here, but you know, they tried something out, it didn't really work out. Tundra, they're continuing to do what they do best. They're sticking to the script here, and even though they did have a rough early game, they still came back with superior team fight, good map play as well, and good baiting.
I agree with that. I share the same sentiment that this just does not look like a Heroic draft, and I don't necessarily think that they need to do this. I think they're a good enough team that they can play their own style. I do think that being able to experiment occasionally is good, but probably it could have happened in the group stage where there's no lower bracket if you lose the game. I will say Divai impressed me on the Slark. Like, he did win the lane and he was doing a lot. This game seemed like one of those games where Heroic won the lanes, they snowballed, they did pretty decent, but then Tundra did something exceptional to come back. They played a fight really well. Ramses hit some really nice pick off with his amazing Mars performance. And then it would go the other way, and then back the other way, and then back the other way, very back and forth. But I feel like if Heroic is a team, if they were Falcons, if they were a team that actually played around the off-lane Slark a lot more, then it would have just been like a straight-up snowball. If this was a Heroic draft and they had this lead, it would be a straight-up snowball.
I actually feel like the Monkey team just needed to play better. It's not even, like, the rest of them, I felt like they already did as much as they could. Maybe certain small little things could have been better, but K1 definitely felt like he just did it.
Like, what if K1 is CK in the same game? I
get it.
Tundra loses. I think they lose this.
I feel like they are doing this because they think that going for their normal comfort hero is probably not enough for them to win the game, and they had to try something that would give them the maximum amount of chance to, have a snag at it, try to do something to win.
Yeah.
And they feel like Monkey is probably the best bet. I mean, I get it. It's not his most comfort hero, but all I'm just trying to say is, it's not gonna be perfect every time you drop. You can't get all your players with their most comfort heroes every game, and with a lineup that makes sense with each other. Sometimes you have to sacrifice something, and in this particular instance, they feel like they needed to go with something that Hector is probably not so comfortable with, to try to bind the draft together to have an answer to the sniper. I mean, sure, it didn't work out, but I feel like it's a really good thing that they're willing to go out of their comfort zone to try to win the game.
Sure. And I think the sniper was dealt with. I do think Thompson had a rougher game than a lot of people would have believed. There were a lot of fights where they were able to get onto that back line, really take out that idea of a damage. Unfortunately, there were moments where he had a buyback, or the team was able to still be able to turn it around for them. So Heroic, we saw that there were issues for them, but on the flip side, massive props to Tundra. Again, for me, it's actually Satsa. I think he really shone in this one on the snap. There were a lot of moments where he was able to escape on just the slightest amount of health fear, and then was able to use his ulti, was able to save another core. He was just there sitting on the outskirts of the fight so often after being right in the thick of it.
Yeah, I mean, Fox had played really well. I think Whitemon also played really well. The two supports were always just saving people, staying on the edge of the fights too. Faith is restored in DK for now as well.
Yeah.
Playing it, so it looked good.
It did look good. Tundra being our winners here. They're going on to the upper bracket with a 2-0. So let's head on down to Nomad and Whitemon.
Thank you very much, Nat. Yes, indeed, I'm here with Whitemon. I mean, firstly, how's the series? Was that one a fun one to play?
Yeah, it's very fun against like South American teams. They're playing so fast.
Yeah, look very enjoyable. And obviously, big question mark over the Slark pick in that last game. What did you think about it?
I mean, I played against it a lot when like Falcons playing against us when I picked Jakiro, so they always pick Slark often. So yeah, the lane may be kind of rough, but things still fine.
All right, so they thought that it was a bit of a gotcha pick, do you reckon? And then, but you played against it, plenty.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. This rough pick is like kinda like greedy offlane, I think. But I think they just want to like snowball the lane and like snowball the early game and trying to play fast and trying to like end the game, something like that.
All right, and did you have any concerns in game 2, like when you were behind, or when the fights were looking a bit tough? Were you ever worried, or were you always like confident in control?
I think we're fine because we know we're gonna come back because they keep like throwing, they keep going, like they're not bringing enough numbers and they didn't respect our ultis. That's why they keep like kinda feeding a lot when we're behind. So I think we're like, it's gonna be like comeback, so I think it's fine.
All right, and last question from me then. What kind of support do you like playing more? Do you like playing in the back lines, or do you like getting involved and throwing some punches?
I think personally I like throwing the spells, something like that, like playing from behind. But I think it depends on my teams. If my team's like giving me like anything, I can just play this fight.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you very much, and best of luck in continuing in this tournament as we throw it back to panel with Nat.
Thank you both. Whitemon giving that extra little insight there about this Jakiro, how it was able to be played in the game, and he's very familiar, in fact, coming up against the slug in the off lane a number of times previously. The biggest one was about heroics rotations. It's not so much Tundra could read them and predict them that we've seen in a couple of matchups before of other teams. It's just that Heroic weren't committing the right number of heroes, the right number of spells. They weren't min-maxing correctly, maybe trying to utilize as little as possible to get the most. And unfortunately, that's where you don't find the success, when you're not willing to give it everything.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes not just not bringing the right amount of heroes, just being late. Like a couple of important fights, Monkey King just arrived late, or maybe he didn't tell his team he needed more time, or maybe his team went in early. We don't know, But you need to have everybody in the same location at the same time. This is what Dota is all about right now. How can you get to a point, you push out all the waves, the two side laners are connecting, and you're allowing your team to all initiate an attack and arrive at the same time. It's a very difficult thing to accomplish.
Yep.
It's interesting to hear that that's like the topic of conversation among the pro players, because I know there's always like, how many auras do we need, how many people do we need at a fight. There's always like the buzz thing to talk about to win the game, and right now it really feels like the best and fastest teams are on that line of they have not overwhelming where it's they're 5-manning everything, it's they're bringing just enough people to the thing. So it's cool to get confirmation on that, because that's kind of been our working theory for a while.
We always kind of have this conversation around auras, what exactly works, and we've seen a lot of heroes pop up and be reused in many series, but Earth Spirit is one that's got a bit of a question mark around it. So luckily we got Purge, going to give us some more information and explain this Earth Spirit mid more for us.
Thanks, Nat. Yeah, the Earth Spirit was very, very well played last game by Analog, and what he did was basically create space for his team and be all over the place on the map. So if we take a look at some of the clips, he started things off. He's level 5, doesn't have his ult yet, but he's still great at rotating. So he TPs the side lane when there is a skirmish. This is part of them probably trying to get the Slark ahead. He just nukes the support, but then he lingers around. Now take a look at this ward. They had this one early, and this one's really important is because it gives you really good vision of this area here, basically. So that basically lets him know if any of the raking heroes are in this area and available to be grabbed. So when nobody TPs the lane, he gets ready to dive. They see the Whitemon TP, and the second that he sees the other one, he's like, okay, I'm out. This fight's not gonna be good for me. I'm going back to my mid lane, and his teammates end up fighting the rest of it out. It's a lot of TPs and contributions just to kill the Slark. So ultimately he gets back in the mid lane, he pushes it in. Schofield has moved over. Now they get to fight on Thompson instead. Analog does pick up his 6 while pushing in that mid lane. So now this fight looks pretty good for them. He's now doing tons of damage. He's going to get earn charges when Thompson dies, and it helps ensure that they get all 3 heroes without any losses. So they just fought mid. Now this is probably the coolest move they made in the early game here. They're pushing up the mid lane with the Enchantress, and against really good teams, it's really hard to trick them in terms of what you're doing on the map. It looks like Earth Spirit's nearby, sitting in the trees, ready to jump in if needed. Mars is going to commit ulti, kill King Jungles, and now it's like, oh, he wasted his time. Not really. He crossed the whole map during this entire period. They feinted with that push with the Enchantress just to get him across the map to kill the enemy carry. And that unlocked the game in a huge way. It compounded their advantage. They took the tier 1 tower safe lane. They killed the tier 1 tower mid, and that allowed them to ultimately play in this area of the map. This is really what gave Heroic their nice advantage, was tricking Tundra and using the Earth Spirit in a good way in the early game.
Awesome, Purge, thank you so much there. It's nice to see how you can play that Earth Spirit, but it also goes hand in hand of if you want to bring numbers to a fight, if you want to keep snowballing your winter, Earth Spirit's a tough one to be able to keep up with, whether you're on the enemy team or your own team as well.
Yeah, he's like very similar to Monkey. Obviously not as quick as Monkey, not as global as Monkey, but there's always enough time for you to get to a fight as long as you have good communication on the team before they go. You're already rolling in. Like what Kevin mentioned about how the Enchantress is showing and Earth Spirit briefly showing himself in the mid lane to trick the enemy. And all of these things are very, very good, you know, in this type of situation.
I want to try and convince Phil one last time about this Dragon Knight hero, especially being in the carry. Do you know where Pure sits right now with experience per minute after that performance in officials?
What did he, like just this game or overall?
This game.
Oh, he probably had like 900 to 1,000 XPM.
It was 1,089, which is in the top 3 experience per minutes across all TIs. So it was a pretty good performance is what I'm saying. Are you now for the hero, against it?
I mean, I am for it if Pure plays it because it's kind of his hero, right? If someone else is playing it, I'll have to reevaluate. But for now, Pure has the thumbs up to keep playing.
My speech was actually longer than this year's Call of Duty campaign. Another company I'll never work for. Fun fact.
Welcome to Viber,
guys.
I just salty.
They're going on there. Both, of course.
Marcus hitting me. We still can fight, guys. Go.
Yep, standing
Bye.
one.
Where's the source? I'm gonna stand house.
4 seconds.
Okay,
I can
we
stand
can.
after. I'm standing a spirit.
They dying from me.
I can force you out.
Kill the monkey. I can stand the monkey. What's this?
He's going, guys. He's going. Scandal.
I can stand him.
Guys, push the wave. Push.
Alright, I am here with Nouns, the only American organization representing here at the International. I'm joined by their captain, Fly. Fly, firstly, how are you doing here in Copenhagen for the International?
Doing good. It's nice to be back here. It's been a while for me. But yeah, it's great to be back at TI, you know? It's always a special feeling, so.
Once again, I mean, even after this many times, it's still special.
Of course, yeah. It happens once a year, and you never know if you're going to make it, really. You know, like, you don't go starting the year with the expectation, like, oh, for sure I'm going to be at TI. And this year has been kind of a wild ride, so, you know, it's nice.
You know, it has been a little tough for you guys at points. Was there any point in this year where you were thinking, like, you're starting to doubt, or you're wondering, you know, is this the year I don't make it?
You definitely have those thoughts. You know, you just can't really let it get you down, right? Because, you know, when you start losing, you're like, am I still going to be able to make it? Am I good enough? Are we good enough? All these thoughts kind of seep in, but in the end, you have to just trust in yourself and in your own ability, and, you know, hopefully whatever happens after that, and you just do your best.
I think for you, as you know, with all the experience you have, it's kind of, you know, you've been everywhere. You know, you've done it all. So were you kind of like guiding your team, you know, through those rough patches? And you know, do you feel like you're maybe the reason why you're able to come out the other side and see the light?
I think it's definitely everybody on the team. It's not just one person. It's never one person. It's always like a combination of different factors. You know, something might just click at the right time. And that is something I did tell my team, is that, you know, you could just be losing a lot of games, but one day you're going to wake up and something is going to click and you're just going to start playing better, either individually or together, and you're going to start winning. It's happened to me before in the past. And it sort of happened for us this year when we ended up qualifying here, right? Like, we played the best Dota I think we've played all year.
How did Milan coming into the team kind of, you know, like help you guys out and change Nouns?
I think Milan came in kind of before the qualifiers, and it definitely helped because I was feeling overwhelmed because I was basically doing coach and captain. I was doing the same, both those roles. And I wanted to be able to focus more on my own gameplay, because nowadays you have to be really good at your own individual role. You can't have some guy who's like, you know, not that good. So it helped me individually because he took a lot of the responsibilities off my shoulders. He would help with, you know, our training routine, replay reviews and things like that. So it's been a great help, and I think he's a very smart Dota mind in general. So he brought a lot of good fundamental ideas to the team that we were lacking.
Obviously, we've had some changes throughout Dota this year, you know, facets, and most recently Ringmaster as well. As a support player, what do you think of this new hero, Ringmaster, you know, as a free MMR?
I love Ringmaster, yeah. It's been free MMR. I think I'm something on like 8-0 with him. I haven't lost a game yet. I try not to play too much because it's not a hero I'm going to play at TI. So yeah. I was trying to avoid it, but you know, every game you queue up right now, people are going to first pick Ringmaster and like High Immortal. The hero's, he's OP. Let's be real. Even after nerf, he's pretty OP. I think I look forward to playing him later after he gets nerfed a little bit, because I think he has all the fun tools in the hero, right? He has like a save, he has like an AoE control, he has like some skill shots. So I think the hero is very cool.
What would it mean for you if you were able to finally lift the Aegis? What would it mean?
I mean, that would be amazing. I think it's one of the things in Dota I have not been able to achieve. So, of course, that would be a dream come true for me to be able to lift the Aegis. Don't want to think too far, you know, we'll take it a step at a time, but that would be awesome, yeah.
All right, Fly, thank you so much for coming to talk to me, and good luck at the International.
Thank you very much.
Team Spirit made one of the most legendary runs in TI history. Two-time Aegis winners, owners of a very exclusive club, and now I get to talk to Pushka, who is going for his third Aegis. I mean, how does it feel to be back again, and how does it feel to be in the running for a third Aegis?
I think it's feeling great. Yeah, we came here for our third Aegis, and I hope we will win.
Absolutely. I mean, do you approach the International differently to all the tournaments of the year?
To be honest, I think we prepare for every tournament in the same way. I think, of course, it's a little bit a question about motivation, and on some biggest tournaments our motivation is a little bit bigger, but I still think that our preparation is not like very different between other tournaments.
Would you say your motivation for this is the highest?
Yeah, I think so.
That's good. I mean, you know, I do want to look back at the Esports World Cup. You guys did pretty well there, but you know, how do you feel about your result?
I think our result was not good enough in our opinions. Like our form was good, but we met some problems on tournament, and we couldn't solve it. Actually, like. We met some problems with heroes. We not adapt to meta at the tournament. That's it. I think it's more about heroes, about tactics, about some meta heroes, and we just didn't adapt well enough.
You know, you guys have been dominant at TI for a long time. You know, you've been turning up to TIs and threatening every single time. And you look at other teams throughout history of Dota, you know, like Liquid and VP and Secret, you know, these teams, they had eras of dominance, but they were very short. Yet you've been able to turn up again and again, and, you know, now you're going for another TI, and you're looking in great form. How do you think you're able to do this over such a long period of time? You know, how have you been able to stay so strong for so long?
Actually, I don't know. It's a little bit surprise for me too. I think it's more about our chemistry between teammates. Like, we believe in each other, even when we have some bad periods. We still know that every one of us is a good player, and we know that if we will find enough motivation, if we practice enough, we still can win some tournaments. And I think it's also we just having a really good time with each other.
Yeah.
And I think this is the most important.
Talk about yourself and, you know, your personal life, your friends and family. You know, who do you have back at home supporting you and you know, watching your games and such?
I think it's my family. Yeah, they always support me, always watching some games, even they don't understand anything from game, but they always think some good words after tournaments, or about some other stuff. So I think it's my family.
Yeah, great. And what's your, you know, relationship like them? And especially when, you know, you started this, you know, what did they say when you started going pro in Dota?
It's a little bit hard to explain, but of course they not believe in me from the start when I start my career. But like when I got my first salary or some price like that, they understand that this is really serious thing, what I'm doing, and they start support me and believe in me every time.
A lot of good teams, they are really strong throughout the year, but then at the International they don't perform as well. Why do you think it is that this happens sometimes?
I mean, I could understand before when prize pool is very big, and sometimes you felt much more pressure when you're playing. But now, I don't know actually. I mean, it's hard to say right now because, for example, previous International, there was only 2 teams who won tournaments. It was we, Team Spirit, and Gladiators.
Yeah.
And grand final was between Team Spirit and Gladiators.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say that on that TI we will see. But I still think that Extreme, Falcons, Gladiators, they will reach top place.
What would it mean for you to be the first team to hold 3 Aegises? What would that mean?
I mean, need to do it first.
Yeah.
After I can say.
All right.
So I will feel myself.
All right, brilliant. Well, I think that's about it. Unfortunately, thank you so much for coming to talk to me, and best of luck at the International.
Thanks so much.
Team Spirit, always a contender for the ages. They came unscathed out of their groups, undefeated, 6-0, and they got to choose their opponents, and they chose Nouns. That's the matchup we're about to witness. I'm joined by Tiga, Effie, and Lacoste, and we're going to dive straight into it. And I want to talk about both of these teams and the gigantic difference, T, that they've had this year in terms of results.
Yeah, this is very true. In Spirit, they've had success. Nouns, not really. They've started the year quite struggling, then they've picked it up a lot. Throughout the entire year as well, Spirit versus Nouns. Spirit have always beaten Nouns. I don't think Nouns as an org has actually ever beaten Spirit. So this really is kind of like the David versus Goliath, and of course the entire region hopes that Nouns can do something, but it's going to be a struggle.
It is going to be a struggle, Lacoste. We dove a little bit deeper into Nouns and, you know, all the D&Qs that we see here, because I will say traditionally there's a different team coming out of the North American region, and Shopify Rebellion now, of course, the missing team.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to say about North American region. It always been like that, having these like 2-3 strong teams. Always somebody was unable to qualify. Always, you know, big drama between these teams, and we can see once Shopify decided to step down a little bit, you know, some players taking it easy, you know, taking streaming as their primary job. Things do look better for Nouns, I would say. And I think the other also example, it's not related to this because the team is not here, is also at Triad Masters this year. We had PSG Quest, who were kind of blocked by Team Falcons throughout the whole year, and suddenly they reached 5th place at Triad Masters. So same thing could potentially happen to Nouns. They do have the opportunity here. Problem is they're playing against Team Spirit.
Yeah, that's gonna.
They got chosen. They're the chosen ones.
Yeah.
Not a good sign.
Not in a good way here. Let's compare a little bit more between these two teams, because Effie, there is just a little bit of a David versus Goliath situation going on.
There really is. Like, you're going up against Spirit, 2-time TI winners. This is TI. You're already coming in as an underdog, as a team that is representing the region pretty much by yourself, and you haven't had a good group stage performance already, so it's not like you're taking momentum and confidence from the group stage games if you're Noun into the series. But we saw yesterday that in Aurora versus Team Zero, that even a team that didn't do well during group stages, what's standing between them and the upper bracket is just one best of 3. One best of 3, one day where you're just drafting really well.
Have a good day.
Well.
Just have a good day, just pick the right heroes. And I think we're going to take a little bit more of a focus to the offlaners before we dive into the draft, because the offlaner hero pools, Effie, that's something that you wanted to highlight in particular regarding this matchup. What made you want to show this?
I wanted to show this because Gunnar has been playing a lot of Tusker offlane. He's played it 3 times, unfortunately, to no success. Whereas we look at Collapse's hero pool, and you see Kunkka is probably his most played hero. And this is kind of the flavor of the month offlaner this patch, because Kunkka basically erases damage. Then on the other hand, you see Doom and Timber, not unusual. Slardar and Magnus, maybe a bit more unusual. But that 3 games of Tusker on the side of Gunnar, turn them into a Kunkka Gunner. Come on, because this hero works for a reason. And Collapse, who's known for his initiation offlaners like Magnus and Slardar and whatnot, he doesn't care. He's playing Kunkka as much as he can because it's the hero that provides your team with so much value. So in a series like this, I want to see less cooking from them, if I'm being honest.
They have had, both teams have had, a day off. Or I say off. I don't think any team is gonna, you know, do nothing on their day off. They have had a day to prepare, which I think might result into potentially switching that Tusk out for something more viable.
I think it also comes down to them playing certain heroes that they feel, you know, very comfortable playing. Gunnar, when he was playing mid back then, he was the Tusk player. He was the one who kind of invented it, rushing the axe with the blink dagger, of course, so maybe there's something to it. I checked his Dota Pro tracker. In the last 8 days, he played 11 games on Tusk, so he still believes in the hero, but I gotta agree with you guys that this Kunkka kind of feels like the hero of the tournament so far. With all the damage mitigation, it goes up to 55% with the boat and the run buff. It feels incredibly strong, and it needs to be addressed.
It does. Let's see if it will be addressed in game number 1 as we are in the game 1 of this best of 3. Winner goes to upper bracket, loser to the lower bracket. We got Nouns on the Radiant side, Spirit on the Dire side. And the first round of bans almost done. Team Spirit have the ability to open up with a pick. Teagup, anything in particular you wish to see from this matchup, as the bans seem to be pretty cookie cutter?
Yeah, in regards to openings, you mentioned it a lot already. Like the Kunkka, that could have been an option. They go for the Tinker, and I think the key thing for Spirit is I hope that they bring aggression from their +3 and +4. I think they have yet to lose a game, but it's always been strong body on collapse, the Mag or the Kunkka, and then a high damage 4. Like a lot of other teams, they go for like playmaking 4s or it's maybe like independent offlanes, but I think Spirit has kind of the right read where it's like you play the lane together for 10 minutes, you break down your opponent and your carry, and then by the time he's recovering, you can't fight at 15, 16, 20 minutes because the offlane done so well. So I'm really looking for Nels at least to respect this and make sure that Fly is on an aggressive support to bring the fight to Spirit.
It was their bread and butter pretty much. Team Spirit, textbook example is them playing range position 4, melee position 3, and they combine it, high damage as you said. Even in the meta where people were playing double melee in the off lane, they were still picking these range heroes for Mira, and now that these are kind of exclusive, you don't want to end up with 2 melee heroes in the off lane because it feels really bad. Position 4 and 5 kind of swap. We had a lot of these Tusks, Marcy's being played as 4. People realized, you know what, we're going to give them less priority and pair them up with the range heroes in the safe lane, which uses them as a body to soak up the damage for the carry, so it feels much nicer.
So this Tinker from Team Spirit is pretty interesting because it's their first Tinker, this TI, and when they have the overall first pick, they've always chosen to take Sand King, Naga, or Kunkka. But I think that this Tinker, they're taking it away from Nouns who have run it before this tournament. But I think that according to their preparation, for them to give away the Sand King, which is a high-value hero, and take Tinker, which we've seen the win rate pop up on the screen, it's 44% so far. The hero has been nerfed. Still good, but it has been nerfed. They think that Nouns' best playstyle and best strategy is with their Tinker. So they wanted to take it.
It could also be kind of Spirit looking at Nouns' previous games and the game that Nouns have on Sand King, it was a really, really rough game, right? Gonna finish like 0-8, they got stomped in like 23 minutes, and maybe it's like, well, we take a Tinker, let them play Sand King, we watch his replay, we see that he might do certain things on Sand King that other Sand King players aren't doing, So, yeah, it's probably a combination of many factors, but I think at least for Gunnar the lad on screen, he is going to have to kind of step up in this game because his last Sand King was not to be remembered.
Well, you apparently remember it very well.
Yes. I hope he doesn't remember it. As viewers, we remember it, but as players...
No, I got
there we go.
I got what don't you worry. Right, so we have still got a couple bans to go to before we go into the second stage of this drafting phase. And I feel like Team Spirit coming in with a, as we said, completely new hero for them, at least in the last few days, is kind of goes to show what kind of preparation they've done on the cost. And the fact that Nouns took so much time in their bonus time to then answer with the Sand King, do you feel like they might have been thrown a little bit off guard by the Tinker pick?
I think so, because they didn't open up with this Tinker, and it feels like they are trying to think what's going to happen if they don't ban certain heroes. Enchantress is going to be banned out. This is the Koshka's specialty. I mean, everything they played so far has a 100% win rate because they did win every single game, so hard to take anything away from that, but feeling like Sanking as an opener, it can be okay, but Sanking, especially from the offlane, if it's not a flex, so far, Copy did not play it. It leaves some of the matchup, really bad matchup open for Sanking from the safe lane, especially this Morphling for Adon. They did ban it themselves, so it's not going to be open. And an interesting one when it comes down to Team Spirit, banning out Alchemist, even though Nouns did not win their game with the Alchemist, it's a hero that comes to the lane. Extra 250 gold can change quite quite a lot, and also Radahn, he does play sometimes these slower, these late game oriented heroes like Dragon Knight that needs a little bit more farm, Morphling as well. So I would say this is a good ban.
Tink.
I was gonna say, on the topic of Radahn Yatoro, he's like very impressive on his Mirana as well, and his Windrunner, which are both still in the pool, and something that Spirit can look to build around. They can still go for the, Treant plus Mirana, or the Treant plus the Wind Ranger, the Tusk plus Mirana, etc. And you can heavily punish the offlane section in that way.
I'm kind of surprised both of those are still in the pool. Wind Ranger and Mirana. Sorry, Timo.
No, that's right. There's a lot of options because I think I would like Spirit to put the Tinker into the 5-role here because you want your carry to be relatively self-sufficient, and when Tinker wants to hit jungle, I think that's a very vulnerable period of time for Tinker Draft because he naturally needs to soak up that jungle farm to bring out a Locket or a mech or something. And that's why in the 4 role, I don't think it's the best position because you sack your offlane and you don't provide any pressure to any other place on the map. You might defend the Tower of March, but you're very, very selfish as a hero. And that's why I think in the 5 role, you don't really hurt your lineup because the 4-3 is active, you then still get to play on your mid, and if your carry just needs to hit jungle and kind of awkwardly play around by himself, like it isn't the most damning situation to be in. So that's why I'd like Tinker to be 5, and I'd love Nouns to keep layering that damage. They got the Snapfire, get a couple more heroes that can explore the map, and then you can try and fight through the kind of the farm that you expect. But again, a very strong lane will be coming from Spirit with Kunkka plus hopefully a high damage position 4.
Yeah, or they can just save their position 4 since there's so many still left in the pool and pick up Wind Ranger as well as the Kunkka, which will be very strong, or Mirana for that matter, which can be doubled up as either for Mira or for Radahn.
I like the Mirana a lot more just because the Kunkka comes out, which we know Team Spirit have loved to run, but the arrow into Axe combo is such a reliable way to transition from the laning stage to the mid game. It's so easy to get 1 or 2 picks into a tower off of that simple combo that it's super high value. Plus, the new Solar Flare with all of the bonus damage, you're looking at heroes like Sandring who buy damage mitigation. They buy your pipes and your Crimson Guards and whatnot. Mirana as a hero naturally counteracts that with all of her built-in damage.
Nouns are trying to progress the game a bit here. The expected pick is probably Tusk, so you have Tusk Luna as one lane, Snap Tanking as another lane. It's very much a draft that kind of screams, this is what we're doing. There's no kind of surprise here, but if you play a good lane and get your group timing, your early BKB Luna, your Blink Pipe and Tanking, like it does play itself out, but I would be worried a little bit that like Nouns, the underdog, going for a very kind of face value draft against a team like Spirit is potentially exploitable, but if they can hit their timing, it will potentially be a very formidable lineup.
They played Luna and Yuma in one of their 2 wins that they've gotten, and they paired it up together with the Treant Protector last time, and they will do so again.
I'm fine. I was fine with Tusk. I think that's one of the best pairings for Luna that he suggested because it gives you damage, gives you a little bit of a save. So does this hero. Most of these position 5 are bodies, and you're not losing those lanes. But what I like about Team Spirit draft is that they kind of break the game. We saw a game when they played against Team Liquid with the repositioning tools, with Magnus, with the Kunkka, the reel-in from Naga Siren. They're going to have some of that here, but in this one, they're more oriented on buffing up the heroes and making them unkillable. Piranha's going to go pew-pew most of the time with the Solar Flare, some Solar Crest. There's the Alacrity, kind of a combo that they already used, and then you have a Boat Drum, any Crimson Pipe, whatever is necessary, Defense Matrix on your Mirana. This hero is not going to die.
Yeah, we've seen this style happen a few times already throughout this TI, with these Mirana drafts in particular, usually accompanied by an Invoker, where there is an enemy offlaner that you know is going to build auras, and then the other team chooses to just buff one hero with all of the damage, and the damage just flies through those auras. Makes it so that heroes are killable at any stage of the game. I actually think Nouns' draft looks very good so far. It's very well rounded. You have your stun initiation, you have your damage from the backline with Mortimer's Kisses, you have your very strong safe lane duo, and you have BKB Piercing disabled from Treant Protector. So their lineup is very cookie-cutter. There are no glaring flaws. The only issue will be once that Mirana has all of these auras on her, she has all of this extra damage, who's going to be stopping her?
One thing that the negative kind of from that type of draft is you can clearly see who needs to have a good game from laning phase to create opportunities. And now it's like, if Sanking's shut down, there is no move to be made. There's no snap-fire combination, Tree doesn't really play the map quickly, and Lou needs to farm. And that's where Spirit can identify that and just punish the Sanking. This last pick from Nouns also needs to be kind of like an insurance policy to bring their draft to life a little bit. But you know, banning out the park, good playmaker for Poppy, so already Spirit kind of identifying they need someone to be active, so Nouns isn't just in a kind of one hero does all until the items come out that we're mentioning.
When Tusk and ET get taken out, it would have been the lane pairing with Mirana. I guess that would be left in the pool is the Marcy, or potentially putting Tinker on 5, but I don't like Tinker on 5 versus Snap Sand King. I feel like he's very punishable and can feed too much, but if he plays with Kunkka on the offlane, it's a lot easier to just do the reliable damage on the off.
Is there what actually, they haven't really flexed it, but you could still technically put Mirana to 4 and then Kunkka and then get him to carry, but
there's also Clock.
Mirana's just too strong.
I wanted to mention Clockwork as well. Feels really nice because you have, you know, combination with Mirana. It's the hero that can find, he can cause a lot of issues. He can find the Snapfire in the backline, stop her ulti from going off. They do have a lot of team fight. It's quite a lot of magic damage coming out from Team Nouns already, but yeah, I do like Clock. Marcy's also fine. I think with Tinker, you want to have something that's going to go in and kind of die. Marcy wants to live, wants to get the items, but Clockwork, he's not afraid to sacrifice his life.
Yeah, they both have their advantages. Marcy is also buff sets the Tinker for Batrider instead. So this is going to be Mirana plus Tinker and Batrider plus Kunkka. Spirit have run Batrider a few times already on Mira, and to be honest, he's been playing incredible on that hero. Constantly pressuring the enemy carry, constantly chasing to the jungle. We've seen Lena's and Miranas and Windrangers get shut down by this Batrider, so this is going to be a very kill-intensive offlane coming out from Team Spirit.
It's just nice to find heroes as well. Like you mentioned the whole want to go in from a Tinker supporting aspect, now Batrider can do it. When he goes in, he finds the hero, now Kunkka then steps in like, okay, I'm now the body. So there's like nice layered aggression where like Bat can find a hero, Kunkka can tank the team fight, and then Mirana and Vocal pump in the damage, and of course Tinker's keeping people alive. So a really nice well-rounded lineup from Spirit. Again for Nouns, it's like they have very, very strong lanes with Tree Luna, Snap Sanking, like Poppy. Look towards him in mid lane, like boss, what do you want to play? And
Shaker.
He takes the Shaker.
Happy? Yeah, I think this draft looks pretty scary from Nouns. I don't think this draft has many flaws. Could be, it's not even on the slower side, knowing that Yuma is going to be playing Luna, one of the carries that comes online super fast, the Lucent Beam, and then you have Sanking building the auras, Shaker from the mid lane built into Blink Dagger. Still going to give the slight edge to Team Spirit, but this is a strong draft from Nouns.
Personally, I'm not a fan of Shaker versus Team Spirit's heroes. Like, it is one of Copy's hero pool heroes that he is really good at, but you're playing against Cold Snap and Tornado. You have March of Machines in the team fights, so you're not going to have easy Blink Dagger angles to actually Echo Slam, and you're also playing to the damage mitigation of Kunkka, so it's not a very easy Earthshaker game. But everything else outside of that mid pick looks really good for Nouns.
Yeah. I mean, they put Batrider 5 and they put Tinker 4, so I think they at least fit. I prefer Tinker 5, but to bring the kind of the game into motion, I don't mind the 5 combination of that. So you'll play lane, use Twin Gate, and then he'll kind of become like a pseudo 4 whilst Tinker's jungling. So I think my reservations of it was fixed because they went Batrider.
And I guess Mirana Radan Toro will be fine even if he gets left alone.
Yeah, a little bit. And again, this game just feels like Nouns after lane, they need good lane, they hit a team timing, then Yuma needs to go, I'm ready, let me make my statement. Like, let me go for Roshan, let me go for towers. If your carry is quiet in this game, teams will just scale to the point where they are, you know, the TI winning team. So I think it's really on Nouns to have the confidence to really know when they're strong. If they don't, they will just, you know, fall out of this game.
But they're supposed to be strong in the lanes already, so the lanes is what we're going to look towards first, because with the rotations we're mentioning that Team Spirit might have, and the strong lanes that Nouns should have, that should be pretty active early game.
Oh, for sure. I think this is going to be action-packed game.
Yeah, I think so too. I just worry about this Earthshaker. I look at it and it looks like such a hard shaker game.
If he just goes like treads Ags, like obviously like early blink, you can be explosive. You set back for the Ags, and then Ags, and you don't care about March. Then you get BKB. Like, as long as he's a body and he goes into the fight, everyone else can play behind him. Just like, even if he might not have like the most show-stopping game, he at least can create opportunity for other people to then shine. So
okay. Let's see what's going to happen in game one. It should be an action-packed one. Before we get to the action, though, let's hear some words from a coach. Let's hear you.
Yes, indeed. Hello, Shiva. I'm here with Silent, coach of Team Spirit. Are you guys happy? You think you got everything you wanted out of this draft?
I think yes. We get our heroes, which we already played this tournament. So okay, our heroes is okay. I'm not sure against about their heroes. I think we give them a little bit too much, but our heroes okay.
That's cool, because I was about to ask. I know a few people have said that Luna, this Luna hero, seems pretty strong, might be a bit of a dark horse of the tournament. Are you a little concerned about how it's going to play against the Luna?
Right now I'm not sure, we'll see, but Luna is... we predicted we're gonna pick it, but right now is too much heroes are really good. So, I don't know, maybe we'll do better bans for the second stage. I think like we could do better.
Do you enjoy a best of three more as a coach, where you've got that sort of tactical ability to figure the other team out over 3 games instead of just 2?
Sure, I prefer more best of 3, because best of 2, if you did one mistake and it's already cost you a game, a point, and you are disappointed, best of 3, you always have one mistake.
Okay, well, best of luck to your team.
Chance for one mistake.
Exactly, no, I get you. Well, best of luck to your team in this game, and I'll throw it over to the casters, OD and Fob. Take it away, chaps.
Thank you very much, Ted. Just ready to get into the action, and as you saw there, First blood going the way of Lal. But interesting here, from Silent, the coach, some sort of hesitations with some of the things that went down in the draft. It's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. Earlier today, right, we had, Falcons versus Beast Coast. I think in the Game 1 interview with Aoi, he also felt that he'd made some, they kind of let the clunker through or something. He wasn't completely happy with the draft. Beast Coast ended up being able to take a game from them. So maybe today, here in this best of 3, this Game 1, it could be Noun's best shot to try and take a game off Team Spirit.
It definitely does feel like it. Their draft, it hits everything. It's strong lanes, it's good team fight, it does scale, it's got this Luna hero that we've seen do very well. It's just going to be the test of how can they do versus Spirit, who also does have a very strong depth, but it's a bit different style, right? You were mentioning in particular me, it's 4 ranged heroes. So yes, versus like Earthshaker and maybe versus Sanking and stuff like that, like the distancing versus can be cool, but we haven't been seeing too many drafts with just like straight up 4 ranged heroes. So it's going to be interesting to see how that one does work out. And it's an Exort Invoker from the mid lane, or at least in the first skill point. We'll see how he decides to switch it up. Maybe it was just for a first blood thing, but we'll have to see how that ends up causing any extra effects, because usually you do see the Quaswex from mid. We'll have to see. Because yeah, this lane, it's going to be good for Kobe.
It should be, right, yeah. Mid-shaker is going to have the edge against a lot of mid matchups right now. Easy denies, easy last hits. See if Lal's able to slow him down much, but yeah, absolutely expect Copy to have a pretty nice start area. Who's already got the bottle coming out. So it's going to be very difficult for Lal to harass. And then these side lanes have been overall, as you said, anything else that you're sort of surprised came out from this draft?
Well, I wasn't certain if Spirit would actually do the Tinker because they hadn't played it, so that one was a bit interesting. We saw that Downs actually hesitated for a bit to adapt after that first pick, how they were going to go down that route, but it's just the Sanking. I know this is a really popular hero right now, but the amount of times I'm seeing now that these ranged, it's always ranged safe lanes. I feel like this hero just suffers a lot in the laning phase. Yes, he comes back because he can farm very, very fast and stuff like that, and his itemization's nice, but the lane's been some problems for me, for the SK. So we'll see how that one ends up going down also.
Difficult for the two of them to really pressure Radan. Yeah. Get the chance to go on Maposhka. These two being the 2 ranged, should be able to place their advantage, and very difficult for Noun's to get aggressive, unless Team Spirit start to make some mistakes on this top lane.
Yeah, pretty much. It's going to have to come from those mistakes. But Gunnar has to be very careful, because it's a Bat Rider as well, so it's a really strong lane versus a melee. Gunnar.
Not going to get the arrow angle there. Radan tries for it. Either way would have been difficult with the creep wave coming in to find the connection. So Gunnar will be fine for now.
Gets the Lotus. Bang. So they got both Lotuses. Looks like the Tinker was also able to claim that one down bottom. Mira is able to get that one in. So this lane is cool, though. It's not a particularly most aggressive lane that we have seen from the Kunkas. I think a lot of the times I've been seeing, especially from Spirit, I think it's been Kunka Snap almost every game, if I'm not mistaken. But it's a very strong defensive move, right? The March is always going to keep Collapse sustained, and he's always going to be able to play inside this lane versus the Luna tree, which this is a devastating lane, right? Tree Luna, very, very killable. Oh, yeah.
So much damage. But yeah, indeed, Spirit having ways to deal with that output that Nouns are going to have.
And
between the two of them in this lane.
Cool thing to point out, just as I was looking at a lot of other players, not many are doing it, but Collapse is doing it almost every game. He does take the grog on the Kunkka, which is really interesting, just to get that extra bit of damage delay and extra bit of protection for his allies. It's very strong.
Gonna get the setup here onto Fly.
Can we get aggressive down here? That'd be pretty cool.
So they can finish him off.
Yeah.
They certainly can.
Very nice.
Angles there for the Tidebringer hit to come in, and Team Spirit to take Fly down.
Kunkka's such a good hero. Perhaps even with the Tinker, who more is defensive, they still can do it. It's very cool. And now Miposhka is actually just making some moves around. And I've been seeing this a lot now, especially with these Maranas. We saw it from Cloud9 yesterday. They leave them alone sometimes because the hero can just, you have leaps, you have these ways to protect yourself, and then you have arrows to arrow catapults, arrow neutrals, etc. So I like that we see those type of mini rotations from Miposhka there. Since there's no bottle on Invoker, they want to deny the runes from that Earthshaker.
Yeah, they're able to make sure the copy doesn't get either of them.
Yep.
On the 4-minute spawn of the water runes.
So that, I mean, Laurel, of course, he's going to suffer, but he got first blood, and his lane so far 18-4 to 23-8. It's not perfect, but he's probably relatively even. I'll actually check for myself really quick. Yeah, he's about 100 gold actually ahead of the Earthshaker right now because of the first blood. So very
cool. Lane. Trying to put the setup here onto Yuma. Collapse trying to come in with the body blocks, but he's taking a lot of damage himself there. Collapse.
Gotta be careful.
Yeah, going a little too aggressive there on the two of them. I think they overestimated the damage output that the two of them could do there. Collapse and Mirror does not work out. End up feeding a kill away to Nout.
He threw the scan. Does he go for it?
Would it be enough?
Oh, it would have been enough for sure.
Yeah, it was worth the shot there. Worth the shot, Lal, but not quite able to get him. Actually, I guess sort of big brains it, right? Because he, instead of going for the obvious straight line, he assumes that the Copy's making sort of a movement around, but was it to be? So Copy keeps it safe, keeps it simple, and ends up saving his life there.
Yeah, a bit of mana wasted, of course, for Laurel, but he's doing great. I mean, this matchup, it's now...
Oh, yeah, against the Shaker, you're happy.
Excellent. Yeah,
absolutely.
I mean, the first blood helped a lot, and okay, he did do kind of what I figured. It's just the 1 point in the Exort, because like playing with multiple points Exort from mid, then you're not a playmaker. And for mid right now, I think you almost have to be in a lot of these games, especially for Spirit. He always plays like these super playmaking styles, so...
Yeah, as you said, you take it to get that first blood. In that situation when you see, hey, you know, if I get this online here, I'm getting first blood.
And realistically, they do have good setup for Sunstrikes on the side lanes. They have X, they have the arrow, so they can potentially get those early on. So yeah, I like this, and I like now that he's going to be going down Quaswex, because, excuse me, Mira was talking about it on the panel. Quaswex is amazing versus Earthshaker. It's very annoying to play versus this Cold Snap, this Tornado, and stuff like that, so...
Let's see if I can catch out Mira.
He's looking pretty dead.
Not really a whole lot he can do in this situation, apart from just try and waste as much time as possible. Copy makes easy work of it.
Well, he got information. He saw the blast as well, too, so he's like, okay, 3 heroes actually chased me, so...
Yeah, I think if anything, that's allowed Miposhka to move up onto the high ground, so to check out the status of what's going on here. We'll spot out the few stacks that Nouns do have going.
He doesn't have the Firefly yet, so he can't really go for any type of steal. Invoker doesn't really want to come over here and steal, so these are a bit tough for them to steal unless they bring a lot of heroes early.
Gonna have their eyes on the mid here. It's a hard play to go for, especially with Copy having the shield rune in the bottle, so not something that they can try for in terms of a kill, but do manage to keep this mid lane in a situation for Lal to continue to have a very good time here on the Invoker against the Shaker after a rough few first minutes of play.
Yeah, Copy's got to be careful how he uses the shield rune, though, because of that Dispel. You know, the Tornado does have to be cautious if he does look to play too over-aggressive. And look at the CS right now, looking really good. You see Radon, Toro, of course, at the top. Collapse now, getting gone on.
Got the cookie set up, and Collapse. Can he get his way through the tree line? He cannot. Mira's not able to save him. Lal's coming with a counter rotation, so they'll be able to turn and punish Lelis with the Tornado Cold Snap combo. So Team Spirit, they'll find a kill in return, but is Collapse getting knocked out of his lane once more?
Super quick rotation though, Laurel. He got down there so fast to be able to get that trade kill at least there for Collapse. Collapse buying the time. Use the X there, almost lives the little bit of run buff that he does. Power rune, he's gonna get it.
Yeah, they're gonna bring them back, make sure that they would have the chance to secure it, and as it was, ends up being bottom, so arcane rune for Lal. Copy continuing to sort of just be controlled in that area, not getting the chance to get the refuel on the bottle.
I mean, him or Gunner can do those ancient stacks later on as well too. I've seen a lot of these Earthshakers even echo slamming some of these big neutral camps, so he does want to get that enabling. But he is slowed down a lot. A lot of times when I've seen these Shakers, it's you get your treads and you get your blink usually between like 10 and 12 minutes. Right now, it does feel like it's going to be a bit slower because because of these last few moves and how much attention they've put on it too, right? I think we've seen the runes just checked constantly here from them. Very good understanding of how to play against this from the side of Nouns right now. Yeah, all three cores are feeling good on the side of Spirit.
I mean, what is that sort of timing do you feel that Nouns are going to have to wait upon to make the players? Is it just looking towards copy
I think
progress he can make before they can really start trying to hunt down and slow down some of Team Spirit's cores?
I think mostly it'll be copy with the Blink, unless they walk right into him, of course. But I think Yuna can actually do some cool stuff on the Luna. I've seen a lot of really interesting rotations just from taking a portal, using the Eclipse kind of combo. So I think there's some moves that he could actually make on this Luna if he sees some type of like sneaky opportunity. But for the most part, I think the Blink is the ideal. Yeah, he's all in on trying to get that lane, of course. No points in the fissure just now. And gonna start working on the stack.
That should be able to clean it up pretty nicely. Spirit, moments ago, of course, we saw them scanning out this area, stepping into it, but they're probably not going to be coming back anytime soon.
I mean, oh, and look at the map right now. Now it's at 0 heroes in lanes.
It's definitely allowing Spirit to kind of maximize what they get out.
Not something you see too often.
Entirety.
I mean, it's efficient, of course, for these heroes to go and hit these jungle creeps, but it's, yeah, you're just giving Team Spirit pretty much full information of what's going on in a way. There's nobody showing at all in those lanes in particular. They have wards to see people sitting in the jungle too, so Spirit can kind of pick what they want to do at the moment. And let's see if Radon can keep that net worth in particular consistently above that of the Luna. I mean, Luna still does farm a bit faster, of course, so probably going to see the Luna get ahead if she doesn't get ganked in some time, but...
It's certainly going to be a very good timing for the Maelstrom from Radon this game.
And he has very good combos to be able to join in early with his team, since he's going to have the coverage of this boat early on for the protection. And these auras that will come out very early, of course, too.
Overall, very close on the numbers. Just a slight lead right now.
Just
Spirits are able to maintain out of the laning stage. 3-3 on the kills, 10 minutes on the clock.
The worry for me is just that this is that last pick Earthshaker, right? So they ideally wanted to have some... It's a good start.
It's a good opening from Fly. Sets up with the overgrowth from the trees to catch Radon by surprise and allows them to take him down.
And maybe... Let's go.
Meposhka. It's going to keep toying around with Yuma.
Yuma can just hurt for him in a second here soon.
I'm going to say a little bit greedy maybe here from Meposhka, but no, maybe not. He's able to fly away. They don't have the lockdown to stop him, so...
He must be afraid of others there, because he could just turn it, perhaps just eclipse him.
It was available. Of course, you know, Collapse and Lal are in the neighborhood. That's probably the big one, right? They don't know where Lal is when he's sneaking around the map with the Ghost Walk. So, if anything, I'd imagine completely expecting that there was an Invoker right behind that bat when the bat goes for that sort of move.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he's probably like, why is this 5 position just running at me? Something's not right here, so it does make sense.
Tower's gone. Team Spirit, make the rotation, take the objective.
Mira was able to clean some big stacks while they were able to pressure that too, so he almost has that Holy Lock and actually finished it up. After he finishes the stack, he went to defend mid for a second there.
Once that's online, the sustain is going to be able to offer with the March. It's going to be very difficult for Nous to fight into. Next time, 6th position at the back.
It's time to make moves.
They have to do it as, it's got to be a straightaway play. A little bit of a pause here.
I just want to see them be able to get a kill and try to transition things into towers. I feel like the towers are going to start becoming problematic for them to set up on if they start losing this type of advantage early. Because early game, I would say their draft, it's 90%. Even, I mean, it's 85%, 90% magic damage on the side of Nouns.
Oh, it is.
So if they start to slow down too much and a pipe starts coming out to heal the sustains and stuff, I have some big concerns. So yeah, let's get that acceleration going.
They got to go straight for Radon, right? When you're looking for this sort of smoke play, he's the top lad that you're looking for.
Yeah.
You want to find this Piranha.
Absolutely. A kill into a tower is the idea.
And Radon, he's already sort of sweeped through the top line of the jungle, so making his way elsewhere on the map does mean that he's going to be a safe distance away from this first movement of Nouns with the smoked up shaker.
They drew it on the mini-map. Look at that. The line, he knew exactly
where he was
going to go.
First attempt here with the Blink Dagger timing, not going to be an immediate success for Nouns.
They will, at least, they got the tower, so Gunnar is able to get that space, and his net worth after finishing the stacks, he's up at the top, so pretty much even net worth game besides that, a little bit the deficit on that Earthshaker, of course, there.
Now Spirit, so they're ready to start heading back towards that top lane, but this time with reinforcements. Radon, not on his own, Lal and Mira nearby. if anything kicks off. And considering setting something up, they do indeed have to take into account there's a high chance that Nouns have more around here, ready for action themselves, and they do. Copy in the trees.
Starting fights is a little bit weird for Spirit without the Kunkka in the position. Bat Rider's not going to have a Blink Dagger for a very long time at this 5 position, so overall making that play, it's like Laurel kind of has to put himself in a very dangerous position. If he does want to be an initiating Invoker, he has to be in front line versus their Shaker Sanking, so maybe need some time to be able to get some way to initiate these fights, or they have to have the Kunkka there to try to look for them, so. 4-3. We've had a lot of games that have kind of been quite slow like this after the laning phase.
Our teams are playing these series very careful.
Yeah.
You know, we're not seeing a lot of reckless movements, very smart play.
Ooh, nice stack. Torrent stacks the right Ancients. I think that's the second time I saw Collapse do it. So here's a 3-stack on his far right Ancients from that. And now they are looking to make the move. So they've got that Holy Locket, they've got the big heals, they've got the Rum, of course, the Blade Mill that's going to come in, and Collapse is going to look for a finish because he has to be the one to grab it here.
He's ready to go here. Maybe even getting a chance to go on him. They're going to find Maposh grab the side. They drop down a Sentry Ward, and we'll find a Bat Rider sneaking about. So Maposhka's gone. Same time up top. He's got his eyes on Gunner. Try and chase him out a little bit, but the arrow's already been used, so very unlikely to get anything out of this. Gunner's able to retreat. But still, yeah, these moments continue to pass in which the Shaker's game, Copy's game, it's going to continue to slow down. Didn't manage to find anything with that Blink Dagger timing. And as you mentioned, as the moments pass, it's going to get harder and harder for the Shaker to just have that kind of wham-bam effect with the jump.
Yeah, but I will say, though, it is a little Spirit, like, they just can't really make plays. The only way they can make a play is if Kunkka is there right now.
But who feels better in an AFK game of farming with these two drafts?
Probably Spirit's actually. I don't know. It's kind of cool. Probably Spirits though, just because they have the solar, the buff up with the solar flare and the Invoker who also hybrid scales.
Yeah,
I would like it a little.
I feel like
Luna's also crazy, so.
True. But for Copy on the Shaker, right? If nothing happens, it just don't feel great as a Shaker. Just in morale as well. You know, you play the Shaker, you want to be echo slamming people.
But we'll see, because Gunner actually has the pipe right now, so the group up overall from Nouns, it's very strong.
It is.
And Spirit forcing an engagement,
they're gonna
kind of awkward. So
they
right
really
now
want to. Yeah, they want to keep doing this. Nouns. Every smoke, and as you say, with this new item timing on Gunner, they gotta go. They gotta find something.
They're very strong right now in the scene fight, in a straight 5v5.
Been caught by the scan though. Spirit know this is coming. They're going to start bringing in TPs. They're prepared for this.
Collapse is going to show his face. They've got Mira behind to get the heals running.
Does Copy really want to try a jump here? It's risky.
They're baiting Collapse.
Yeah, it feels very rough to try and make a play into this now. So they're going to go for a Copy stepping forward. They get the Burrow Strike and he's going to jump over towards Mira. But the Tornado comes in. Lars ready to disrupt the play. Cold Snap comes in. They turn straight over towards the Shaker. Copy's trying to retreat for Radan. He's in with the right clicks. Copy, he's going to lift. He's able to get out. He'll get away from the fight. And with him surviving, nobody goes down.
What?
Oh my goodness, that was going to be a beautiful Sunstrike there. Nearly caught him off the back and blinking up the high ground. Would have killed him.
But it would have been cool.
But it would have been very cool if it would have been close to killing him. It would have been a mild bit of sunburn at the level 1 Exort, of course, at this point. But I mean, that was very close to them killing the Shaker, right? That was, if anything, I think now they're going to be a bit of a sigh of relief that they didn't lose anyone there.
I think they got a tower at least. This was kind of a weird exchange. I think Nouns comes out slightly ahead of it because of how much was had to kind of be used to just defend, but they didn't even defend the tower. It's very cool, but cool.
But they also get a tower themselves, Spirit. Now play, back and forth down. It's a close 17 minutes, 5-3. Not a lot's happening, but now they're definitely trying to make something happen. This time, with the Overgrowth setup, they might have a better shot at taking down a kill. Backup is coming in.
The shield.
He's ready to help him out. Collapse is going to be buffed up. They're able to turn towards Fly. Turn to the lasso. Burrow Strike comes in from Gunner. Yuma trying to survive here. Can he live throughout this? He will not. He goes down. Gunner's trying to desperately find Lala in return, but he's not going to get it. Team Spirit are perfectly fine. The X-Mark combo comes in. The Burrow Strike timing, it's there. He's able to dodge the X-Mark pullback, and that's going to give Gunner the chance to continue to run. Spirit, they will continue to chase though, and they'll get him regardless.
What the heck just happened? Collapse is still alive, and he still has HP. Like, how'd he survive? X's himself, gets the grog, gets the boat coverage, gets the shield. He survives everything. They tried to kill him, and then it just ends up turning flat on their head massively. And look at the damage he's able to do during it. Holy crap. Nerf Kunkka. The mitigation is just absurd. Like, they're not the ones. They didn't even have piping going.
Copy had a bit of a chance there for maybe a solo kill on Miposhka. He tries for it, completely whiffs the blink initiation, and he's just gone and given up his life. That's a rough one.
I mean, his game does continue to get worse and worse.
It does feel rough. It's never a good position to be as a mid shaker at this point, falling behind.
And it's pre-pipe, you know, it's before the pipe is coming up.
It only gets harder.
It does. And Invoker, I like the itemization. I think this is the other build that we've seen, especially from Thompson too. You go down the Mage Slayer route. You makes you very innately tanky, you do good DPS, works with your cold snap, and it's good versus the whole Nouns lineup of pretty much all magic damage early. Spirit, they're just taking the fight beautifully, and I think Nouns is kind of falling for the trap and the bait of, yeah, we can kill the Kunkka. The shields are there.
Definitely getting to a point where I think Spirit, as a team, they're just going to keep doing what they're doing, whereas Nouns, the panic may begin to set in. It's like, what do we do? What is the plan? What is plan B? What is plan C? They're going to have to start running down the list. They're going to be running out of options with this sort of draft as time passes.
They got to start finding these other... I mean, they got to start starting fights on somebody other than Collapse, but it's just been him literally been like, go, I mean, please. He's literally waltzing right into them, so we'll have to see what angles they can find to do that. They do have the tree, so they do have a scouting mechanic, right? So I think he has the shard finished up now on Fly, so maybe that will let him try to find easier opportunities to sneak into the back and see some of these heroes that they can catch, but the fights are very difficult. They have to try to get past that wall of the Kunkka to get to these ranged heroes.
Yeah. And now, yeah, with the Kunkka,
now he's got the
Kunkka
pipe.
having the pipe, and I believe what the mechs just come out for Mirror as well on top of the Holy Locket. They just have so much to stay.
And then
now their jump's got to be perfect. Copy's going to start on Mirrors. Not a bad way to start the play. They'll get rid of the Tinker. Can they get anything more?
Trouble.
Turns in with the EMP. They get the control on a Copy. The boat comes crashing in. Copy surrounded it by the two of them. They aren't coming over the right clicks, but a Burrow Strike from Gunner comes in pretty hard. Catches the three of them, bringing Lyle down low. Lyle, he'll pop the Ghost Walk. He's going to try and grab the Lucid Beam comes in. Now they've found the two of them, and they're going to try and chase it for more. Gunner, another Burrow Strike. Cooking a follow up. They burst through Collapse. They find the three of them. And maybe more. They put the chase down on the walls. Miposhka, Blast not going to quite catch on, but with the Burrow Strike forward, Gunner's able to set up with the Yules, get the catch from potentially another Miposhka, trying to juke up to the high ground, but the cookies there. They'll find four of them. Nouns able to take the team fight. So there's some beautiful angles there from Gunner on the Burrow Strikes.
They got some really nice chain stuns coming out and hitting multiple targets, and it was them catching not the Kunkka first. They got the Tinker, they get on top of him.
It's the best way to start the fight. Get rid of that Tinker.
Yep.
If Mirror's able to sit in the fight, get multiple marching machines off, it's pretty much going to be impossible. But if they can take out this incredibly farmed Tinker for the support position at this point, that's the way to take these fights.
That was huge. Very, very important for them to get.
Yeah, they took away that lead completely. It's about a 3K lead that's now gone.
Yeah, and Shaker's game, he does survive during all of it too, right? So gets the benefit of all the levels and everything from that. I mean, he still gets XP and everything when he dies. Do have to remember how that innate works.
Yeah.
You're a Shaker, but does get a lot out of it.
And he got a lot of confidence from that last fight as well. I believe before that fight, indeed, he felt that the pressure was going to be there to need to get the BKB first. He had the Blink Dagger, had the BKB queued up next, but after the way that fight went and the money that he gains, he's back to the original plan, back to just getting his Aghanims online. He's about 1,000 gold away from it. He's going to get it in good time. He needed that fight. They find it. They're holding on here now.
Yeah, and that'll give him the opportunity to potentially scale, right? If he goes BKB, it can just be this all-in, where if you don't get a lot done, it hurts. So we'll see if it does pay off. As we see, the Tormentor gets claimed. Who gets it? It's Miposhka, not the most useful one, of course, for that Bat Rider on the 5 position.
See what they get here on Nouns. They're going to be able to get it for Lelis from the snap.
Quite a bit more useful. A little bit of heals and stuff. This is definitely not the best shard in particular, but I think a little bit underrated. All right. I mean, yeah, pretty much dead even. This is a really, really cool game we got.
This is good stuff, yeah, so far 22 minutes in. A game that on paper, when you consider the results of both teams so far, could have definitely played out to be a pretty rough one for Nouns.
Yeah.
But they're really holding themselves together very nicely, and especially after that those last few moments in which Spirit were starting to get that lead. Nouns desperately needed to find a successful play. Nouns found it.
Yeah, we're definitely going to see a lot of different plays just played off of these cooldowns, and we'll see which itemizations end up working better. I'm just keeping tabs on everyone. Miranda now has Manta, so has the way to play around that tree route. Probably needs BKB next because of all that massive stun and control that they do have. But they're going to go for this rush, and they're in a good opportunity to kill it fast.
That's true. I don't. Yeah, Nouns, are they in any sort of shape to get over here? It doesn't look like it. So Spirit getting down as this corner. And indeed, very quickly being able to take this Roshan will secure themselves the Aegis. We'll see if they give it to Radahn or Lal. They get it on Radahn. So now very, very difficult to take down. So for Nouns, now that the Aegis is over there on the Mirana, what do you feel they should do for this next 5 minutes? Is it just completely avoiding fights, or do they still look for opportunities to try and catch Spirit by surprise? How passive do they need to be with this Aegis in play?
Probably just wait for Yuma's BKB. I think even versus the Aegis, if they see opportunity, when people are split up, they can get stuff. Because they have this blink, they have good catch. So could probably still look for something here. But I don't know, I don't even know how much Team Spirit's going to look to force with this, it feels like, but we'll have to see.
Copy. He's got the angle here to set him on a Miposhka.
He's got him. Easy kill.
Miposhka. No way to get out of this one. Firefly still on cooldown as well, so they get themselves a freebie now. Move down towards the bottom.
Yeah, I think this feels like a kind of farming Aegis for Team Spirit, to be quite honest with you. So I feel like now they can definitely look to make plays.
Yeah, I like it. They're smoking up immediately. They want to try and make another move.
And they just got the BKB on Yuma, so they have ways to just force the issue into these fights now.
And I think, yeah, Copy, he's really going to have his sights set for the Tinker in these fights. If he can catch Mirror out of position, it's not a bad hero to fully commit on and take out the team fight.
And they're getting closer to a Blink Dagger on Fly as well, too, so they're going to have, like, multiple different ways to jump into back to find some of these heroes, so... Well, for Spirit, it really is... It's completely reliant on Collapse to either initiate or be that bruiser to just soak everything, so... Because I was checking with Poshkuts, he goes just down the Solar Crest, so he can't go Blink as the 5 position. The initiation is a bit odd for Spirit. It's more like, okay, you initiate on us, and then we use our defensive capabilities to turn it on you.
Sure. I guess that's going to be the situation typically when you have a lineup that's 4 ranged and 1 melee, sure. Right? You're not going to have a lot of front line, a lot of ways to kind of go in and start things off.
So they're going to actually smoke it up now. I think they got some information with that ward up top. They saw somebody in position, so looking for a catch-off.
I guess they didn't see the courier. Maybe they did now, but...
Hero pinged it.
Of course, it would just be a tree. It's a bit of a pesky hero to spend time hunting down, so Spirit won't bother to spend any resources looking for Fly.
I mean, they only have one person who can carry dust at the moment.
Yeah.
Everyone's full slotted. They might have to actually do some stuff with their slots here because it's only the poor Bat Rider Miposhka playing an actual support, it feels like. He has to literally buy everything and carry everything to have that detection. I mean, he spent on support. You know, look at his inventory. He's got double no.
Yeah, come on, Mirror's like, come on, I'm doing some supporting.
He's buying them. He's swapping them in and stuff throughout, of course. So, yeah. D-Port gets done there. How long an age? Just 2 minutes.
I'm going to get a haste rune here for Copy.
And he's getting closer to BKB himself also, and I believe Gunner, does he have it finished? So Bloodstone, Pipe, Mule, Gunner is big.
He's hard to kill. We saw in some of that big fight that they had on their side of the map now, it's down in their jungle. You know, one of the reasons why Spirit did struggle was because they weren't actually able to kill Gunner. And that is indeed getting harder and harder.
He's got the Vampire Fangs on top too, that was the initial lifesteal, now with that Bloodstone too.
Yeah, crazy amount of survivability. For sure. And the damage is going to start stepping up. Once humans able to get this Crystallis into the Daedalus, a lot of the kind of damage reduction they do have between sort of Pipe and Side Spirit, it's not going to matter as much. Fly?
No, fine.
It's going to get caught this time.
I mean, this Luna, it's the the nature of the Luna where she just farms really hard on her own, so the level, she does have pretty much a 1-level advantage over Radahn still. And that level 20 talent, of course, too, for Radahn is very important to point out the big burst single target that you're going to be able to get onto him soon. That's an interesting game. 10-8, but it's very tense moments.
See if they're able to stick around and push this tier 2. Looks like they should be able to. TPs are coming in at the tier 3.
Aegis is getting reclaimed in 50.
Would be nice to time a fight here. I don't think they're going to be able to do anything before the tower falls. So Spirit will find us tier 2, but indeed now they want to try and strike. And with the smoke coming in now, likely that they will find a fight before the Aegis has expired. So we'll see what they do with this now.
And they find Miposhka, he's playing the block. He's trying to protect Radahn, but they seem to know where Radahn is.
They've got the courier. Eyes on the courier here. Radahn, he's trying to hide in the trees, but I mean, they've got a complete setup. I mean, that's the Aegis quickly disposed of.
So if you go for round 2, Collapse. He's going to get the boat coming in. Radan leaps up to the high ground, but he's blocked off here on the bridge. He can't get away, and Yuma's got the damage. They take him out. Burst strike from Gunner. He's able to find Collapse in the trees. Copy jumps over here with the Enchant Totem. I mean, Collapse popped the blade mail, but it comes to an end, and now they're ready to rip him apart as Nouns. They'll be able to catch out both of them.
They're doing it, Owen. Level 20 is now picked up, and you're seeing the way, I mean, it's awkward. Spirit can't really start fights.
Yeah, I mean, that was a bit of a rough position for them to get caught in. Of course, when they got the tier 2, they started to back off, but a little bit separate from one another.
Yep.
And now they find the perfect time to strike. They see the courier, they know where Radan is. Collapse is there trying to help out, but the whole team of Spirit, they're not in the area.
I think if Mirana had BKB, they maybe would have tried to fight around her, but without BKB, there's no way that she can fight versus this lineup of Nouns just yet, with what they've gotten so far in these last few moments. And now tier 2 also likely to fall. Maybe even potentially, never mind, BKB cooldown on Luna. I was going to say maybe poke high ground a little bit, but could be risky with no BKB.
Yeah, I think Yuma's going to be feeling fantastic. He's super close to having this full Daedalus. I mean, we're seeing already how much damage he does. Once that's online, he puts the BKB in the team fights. There's not a lot that they could do apart from attempt to sort of kite out and wait out the BKB or try and find the lasso. But at this point, the Bat's going in and dropping a lasso onto the Luna. Highly likely that the rest of Nouns are going to be able to kill that Bat off pretty easily.
I mean, Poshka can't do that. So
yeah.
He needs Blink.
He's just going to die.
I actually think that maybe he's looking back and being like, maybe I should have done the Solar Crest first, and maybe they needed to get Blink to start some other fights. Because, right, it's literally just been them being fully defensive and trying to react to how Nouns has been playing almost entirely after they had like a bit of an advantage and stuff. So Nouns, they're kind of the dictators of the pace now until we see at least the Blink come out from the Bat and the BKB from Radan.
Yeah, that's the next 2 timings really for Spirit. They've got the Crimson out and Collapse.
But the damage is starting to get overwhelming.
Yeah, it's just so much with this Daedalus on Luna now.
And they pick up a gem, I believe, after that fight win. I think Fly bought it, so Gunner now carrying, or Lelis bought it. Yeah. So trying to control map. They know they have this advantage at the moment. Even if it's just slight with the gold in particular, the way that their lineup kind of works with this versus that lack of initiation right now, it's feeling nice. And they've got these good aggressive wards now placed out too, so they'll be able to read the movements that are going to come out. And with that deep ward that they placed on this far right above Yuma here, it's going to prepare for the Roshan that's going to be on the Radiant side in these next few moments as well too. So they'll see the potential Spirit like walking down the lane and stuff. So very good preparation from Nouns. I think this is the best game I've seen them play so far.
I think so. They've stepped it up coming into today. And when it's necessary the most here, if they want to be able to stand the chance to challenge the team with the likes of Team Spirit. And so far, they're absolutely doing that. 30 minutes in, Nouns have the advantage.
And maybe it's because Gunner's not playing Tusk. Just kidding, sorry, Gunner.
What's his win rate on the Tusk not being well?
I actually don't think it was. I was just trying to be mean because I'm a buddy with him. Oh no, he lost actually all of them. Okay, he did lose all of them. Never mind, I'm not just being mean. Don't lie.
He probably agrees. And if anything's to go by, his Sand King performance so far, I think he's going to be wanting to play a bit more of this one. It's looking pretty good so far. Timing's been fantastic. They've only been able to kill him off the once this game.
I thought his lane would be. I mean, his lane. It's not like his lane is really that incredible. It's just he had those stacks that didn't get contested, so he was able to get away with quite a bit here. That's nice. And look at that, 100% Radiant with Sand King. Well, Radiant overall is having a high win rate, of course.